All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? Sorry, I have been having a sound problem since yesterday. I don't know whether it's from my end or it's a Safaricom. There must be a problem. But I can see the signal is on and live, and I hope the signal will continue like that because today we have many classes. We have uh, we have we have a great. So we have in this case here leadership and management now, and then we'll be able to have AFM in this case here from what time here? AFM. There's an AFM of 1 o'clock that I want to have this thing coinciding with. So you can say AFM 1 to 3 p.m. and then AFR later, so that you guys can also get time to study on your own. All right, now we are 42 in number. 42 in number. I don't know whether you guys are friends from all over. Today I would want to be very philanthropic. It's Edie. It's Edie Mubarak. We have to be very philanthropic. At one, we have triple A. No problem. We have the special revision class. We have the special revision class, which is normally what time, which is always at 1. If you miss this other one, of course, you shall be able to record. That's the beautiful thing of being at RCM. You shall be able to record. So the timetable, Harriet, right now, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, we have leadership and management. And then we have, ladies and gentlemen, 1 to 3. 1 to 3, because I would want that AFM to coincide with the SPR AFM. So 1 to 3, we have AFM, which will be open to all our students, whether in SPR or early morning, it will be open. And then we have from talk of say 6 to 8, we talk of what here? AFR. AFR. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that clear now? All right. Thank you so much. So then we should be able to start here. But how comes we have got very few students attending here? How comes you have very few students attending here, and yet we had made an announcement regarding this leadership and management class? How comes we have very few people attending here? Okay, so I think now I should be able to answer Sylvia, because if I keep on repeating that schedule thing, of course, I'll get always that question popping up. I'm so sure there must be now somebody who has that timetable who should be able to help my sister Sylvia. All right. We are almost full class. No, not full class, 40 something. We have over 200 students, doing LM. Doing LM with us. Evening should be over 100. Early morning also around that number. Let's call them. You can see what I'm doing. What I'm doing exactly here is to call, in this case here, these people. I'm calling them. And you see the beautiful thing with this session. Leadership and management session is a session that anybody should be able to attend, so long as you're learning. Oh, are you sure? What do you mean, Juliana? Let me check. All right. So what am I doing? I'm not even checking that number. What I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm basically sharing this link to these groups so that you can have over 100 people attending. The kind of content that I have is not the content of 50 students. No, I have a high level content. It's content of 100 plus, 100 plus people, 100 plus people. Sina content ya 50 people. For the ones who attend, they're about 50, okay. Oh. Mm. And then the others, they paid their fees and they decide not to attend. That's crazy. That's crazy, you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, then I've been able to send a few links here and there. I believe now we are okay now. I believe life is good. Okay. I believe life will be good. All right. So, and basically, we are looking at case questions directly. We are looking at case questions directly. So I'll be able to save this in PDF because I know you guys would want me to give you these answers. All right. We wish all our Muslim brothers and sisters a great Eid. This is a very big day for them, you know. Actually, if it were not for the KASNEB that is really squeezing our students, such a day, we are not supposed to be teaching at all. It's a big day for the Muslim community. Big day. Especially if you go to countries like Dubai, they really celebrate Eid. It's like everything in this case here comes to a standstill. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Now we have 59, great. So let's start now. So we're going to do two questions, case study questions, two of them. And I would want to start with the May 2016 question number one. May 2016 question number one, do we have that paper? 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 May 2016 question number one, Sugar Company Limited. May 2016 question number one. May 2016 question number one. May 2016 question number one is quite an old question. It's quite an old question. Once you guys are able to get it, kindly put up your hands. Raise up your hands and then we shall be able to continue. And if you don't get it, no problem. Because I'm sharing my screen, we shall be able to share this and then we read the case together. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever it comes to a case question, you don't read a case question like somebody who is reading our great book, the Bible. Our great book, the Bible. No, 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 no. Whenever it comes to a case question, you always start by reading the questions themselves down to the required. So what I'll do, I'll just look at the case question. It's called Sugar Company Limited, and then I'll go to the case itself. So the case is here. The case is here. For those of you who have got our great revision kits, you go to page number 164, 163. Page number, so required, I'll start reading here. Required. With the use of suitable examples, illustrate how the body of governance for state corporations in your country has been floated by this sugar company limited. The body of governance, corporate governance, basically. Explain 5 measures that sugar company limited should put in place to ensure that the company is competitive in the market. C, suggest 6 remedies available to SCL where directors are found culpable of breaching fiduciary duties. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, a fiduciary duty is a duty of trust or a position of trust. We have started a company, 1,000 people. There is no way we will be able to stay there, 1,000 of us, to manage that company. Then we shall be able to appoint the Sylvias, we shall be able to appoint here the Wekesas, etc., and put them there as directors. So they put them there as directors. These guys are there as our agents. So we have entrusted them with our resources here. Of course, if they're not very good, they shall squander our resources. But we believe that these are people who understand that this is a fiduciary. It's quite a high level of responsibility. It's a position of trust. And remember, once trust is lost, it shall never be gained back. It's very hard for you to regain lost trust. So explain 5 measures that the SCL should put in place to ensure that the company is competitive. Suggest 6 remedies available to SCL where the directors are found culpable of breaching fiduciary duties. Assume that you are a corporate strategy consultant and SCL has approached you for advice on modernization of the company's operations. Suggest 6 modules that should be included in the integrated enterprise resource management software for the company. You don't even have to read the case to know the components of SAP, the components of an ERP system. Any ERP system like SAP, ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning System, or Enterprise Resource Management Software, will always have a FICO module. This is finance and what year costing module. So like now somebody who is working for a big firm, they already know this. The modules, they know them. So we have here FICO module. For example, we need what we call a CRM model. Within SAP, we must have a CRM model, or you bring it from outside and of course integrate it with your SAP. CRM is customer relationship management module. Assess 5 unethical practices propagated by various agents of who? Various agents of this sugar company limited. So then I will repeat again the requirement. I repeat the requirement when I'm doing this because I know once this requirement sticks in my head, then I will be able to really answer these questions very well. So again, with speed, with the use of suitable examples, illustrate how the body of governance for state corporations in your company has been floated. Explain 5 measures that this company should put in place to ensure that the company is competitive in the market. Suggest 6 remedies available to SCL where directors are found culpable of breaching fiduciary duties. You can take them to court, we can sack them, no remedy. These guys, in this case, have stolen, for example. There are many things you can do to them. We can take them to their respective professional bodies. Like if it's ISPAC. So if it's ISPAC, we've taken them to their respective professional bodies. The respective professional bodies then will be able to discipline them. Assuming that you are a corporate strategy consultant and the SCL has approached you for advice on modernization of the company's operations, suggest 6 modules that should be included in the integrated enterprise resource management software for the company. Then assess 5 unethical practices propagated by various agents of SCL. Now I have like now unethical practices. I mean like stealing. Like for example, creative accounting. We will hear that there are accountants in this case here who are forging, in this case here, who are faking profits, who are creating profits, for example, which is not sustainable, because it will reach a time now the company will not be able to sustain its operations, pay its workers, and yet you are cheating people that profits are 10 billion. Simply because you as directors would want to retain your positions. So now you are cheating now. You're creating fake profits here. Now let me go and read. Now this question, I'm quite aware that I'll get all the marks, because more of it is generalized. You can't get these things in any book. So then I'll be able to read here very fast. Sugar Company Limited is one of the oldest sugar manufacturing companies in the Great Lakes region of Africa. Very old. The company manufactures the sugar from sugarcane, which is mainly sourced from over 60,000 registered outgrowers. The company operates a nucleus estate. You can see the stakeholders here really, like now these, the suppliers. Very many 60,000 is not a joke. The company operates a nucleus estate where it has planted sugarcane on more than 50,000 hectares, not acres, hectares of land. Huge. SCL is 100% owned by the government. Very, very risky. Any enterprise owned by government, most of them, it is not 100% of them, but most of them, like 80.9999% of them, they are down there on their knees. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, any government-owned parastatal, normally what will happen there is cronyism. What will happen there about employment there is nepotism. So they're not looking at meritocracy, all right? They're looking at somebody like now, this great Indian who was on the other day on the news telling that Ruto, you know, if you never came to presidency, I mean, I would have closed that you should be able to do 25 years of presidency in Kenya. Now, listen to that, all right? Cronyism. So in this case here, we have people who would want really to, the yes men, yes. Those kind of people can never run can never run any company successfully. All right. And again, remember again, whenever it is government owned, most of those CEOs, especially in those old days, at the end of, for example, some period here, these guys would have to get money. They go and give that money to who? To the president or to whoever for what year? For campaigns. So whenever an institution is owned by government, it will always have, in this case here, problems. I'm telling you today, if Hilton wasn't owned by government, you know, Hilton, the government had about 50%, government of Kenya, 50% of shares in that company. It went under simply the government. Of course, in the government is never a very good player in terms of what year businesses. And that is why you will get like more serious countries. The governments will not, they will only create a conducive environment for private players here to do what to run businesses. But the government is not supposed to run. Government should be left with which business? Military. Train military to the level that they should be taken to Haiti and kill those criminals over there. All right? In infrastructure, government in this case should be building roads, not doing like, I mean, you're in the service industry, selling food. Government, no. You're going to put employees there who will be not interested in the company's progress. Every time you pass by, it's just a hi. They salute. And then they forget that they are serving the interest of who? They should be serving the interest of the company, not your interest here. So government owned, and that's a question that's very, very common. There are case questions that are very common. Government owned enterprises and family owned enterprises. When an enterprise is family owned, there are always issues of internal controls. You know, family owned, for example, like now myself, of course, I'm becoming old and I'm so sure my God will be able to allow me to hit 80s, right? So I've hit 80s, then I'm bringing my kids in this case here to help us manage whatever businesses we have with families. So in this case here now, assuming I have like a daughter who is now doing business with our company here. I mean, when you tell them, for example, to supply goods to, assume it's RCM, these guys, in this case here, you will not be able to question, for example, the quality of things they bring. So in this case, automatically, I mean, there will be conflicted interests automatically. So family-owned businesses, government-owned businesses, their answers are quite similar. It is all of it is pointing towards what here? Lack of professionalism, lack of what here? Control, lack of controls or very poor controls. And that is why at the end of the day, when that big man disappears from the industry, disappears from that organization, either through whatever ways, automatically that family will never hold easily. That business, of course, will do what it will collapse. Will collapse. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here? So we are told here, most of the sugar manufacturing companies in the country where SCL operates are owned by the government. The farmer's voice is low since they have a limited control of activities in SCL, which is largely controlled by government. Is this good or bad? The farmer's voice, remember there are 60,000, and yet their voice is low. Good or bad? Good or bad? Somebody participate. Talk to me. Talk to me. It's very bad, ladies and gentlemen, because right now we are saying for successful running of businesses, for longevity, for business to be there in the long term, we must always have what we call stakeholders participation. And then according to Mendelov, we have a model called Mendelov. Mendelov is M-E, Mende, alafu L-O-W. According to Mendelov, you are supposed in this case here to categorize your stakeholders. And these kind of suppliers, I mean, they are what here? They are big stakeholders. You know, when you categorize your stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, you should be able to know in this case here the strength of the stakeholders. Like, I mean, people who are supplying sugarcane to you. And then you pay them, like, for example, every 3 months, after 3 months. Others, like Mumias, have stayed with their farmers' money even for 2-3 years. So these guys in this case here are so huge. You need in this case here to, I mean, you must keep them satisfied. They must have a strong voice. We must keep them satisfied. They must have what we call a strong warrior voice. So we must engage them. You know, there are employees, ladies and gentlemen, that are, or rather not employees, but stakeholders, who are good, but you can never endeavor to keep them satisfied. Like according to Mendelov, you will have suppliers on top here, and then you'll have employees down here. According to Mendelov, ladies and gentlemen, employees are never the kings. They're never the queens. So for employees, what are you supposed to do? Of course, motivate them. According to Mendelov, motivate them. But because you can never keep them satisfied, what do? You keep them informed. Give them as much information as possible. You can't have employees satisfied 100%. It's not possible. It's not possible. Because even if you are to increase, for example, ladies and gentlemen, like employee salary, say to $1 million, do you think that person will be satisfied? If you increase your salary of your employees $1 million, do you think they'll be satisfied 100%? Do you think they'll be satisfied 100%? No. The first 3 months, of course, they'll be quite loyal. After that, again, they want more. So Mendelov. But the most important thing that I would want you to understand from the word go, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we have like employees, these suppliers there, then we must ensure that we engage them in how we are managing the business, We must stakeholders participation. Stakeholders participation. All right. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have here the directors of SCL are appointed by government. It's tricky thing. The current board comprises 27 directors, most of whom are appointed through local politicians. Ladies and gentlemen, how many directors do we deem as optimal in organizations? Maximum. In this case here, maximum, of course, it keeps on varying from one state to another, but the maximum number of directors should be how many? Because we don't want noise in the system. How do you tell me that 27 people can sit down to decide for a company? 27 people, that's noise. Those are noise makers. So in this case here, they should be about 9. If you expand a little bit, 12. If you expand a little bit, 12. It should be 9. 9 is the optimum. Of course, you'll have others like in Kenya. I mean, we know that there are companies that have got even 20. But trust me, 20 directors, that is noise. That is noise in the system. If you bring like now these 27 directors, I'm so sure, directors, most of them are not even effective. Most of them in this case here will only come to board meetings just for the board allowances. Are you aware of that? So if it's a 3-hour meeting, these directors in this case, some of them will only come for the last 30 minutes, simply because they would want to append their signature somewhere and then they get. So you can imagine 27. I mean, this is it will be hemorrhage. The company will be bleeding. And remember right now, like in Kenya, it has reached a point where we are paying our directors up to 50,000 Kenya shillings in this case here per meeting. Kenya shillings per meeting. So who can give me simple arithmetic there? What is 27 times 50,000? 27 times 50,000. Can somebody in this case here give me this arithmetic here? Can somebody give me this arithmetic here? Can somebody give me this arithmetic here? Can somebody give me this arithmetic here? Why they are not talking to me? You can imagine getting 1,350,000 in a single meeting. Those are directors, guys who are putting in 3 hours, and they're not even quality hours. They're not even quality hours. Those are liabilities. Those are liabilities. Just a minute. All right. All right. Thank you very much. So I can see you guys are following. Automatically there we are flouting a corporate governance rule. In corporate governance, there are things you're supposed to know. One of them, of course, is what here is about. One of them, in this case, is about. One of them is about what here. One of them is about optimal number of what here directors in a board. It should be really too much. And again, remember, the board is supposed to be progressive. The board is supposed to be what here? A progressive board. A board that is able to steer a company to prosperity. So a lot of noise in the board will make it, in this case here, be going the opposite direction. Having big numbers is spoiling a company. Ladies and gentlemen, most of whom are appointed through local politicians. Now you can imagine, for example, now local politicians, us in this case here getting like a director, like a chaser. I'm not against him, but I mean, like, a chaser now is a director at NHIF. We shall overcome. A recent governance audit revealed that 6 directors were secondary school dropouts. So do they really merit these positions? Do they merit these positions really? Somebody. 6 directors were secondary school dropouts. The audit also revealed that no board member had adequate financial management qualifications. Here we shall flout corporate governance because, ladies and gentlemen, under corporate governance, we are supposed to have our boards structured in a way that we have committees. And one of those committees that is very, very key to the success of any board, to the success of any organization, is called audit committee. And the chairperson of audit committee, at least one of these 3 should be, if possible, minimum of 3 members in the audit committee. One of those 3 should be having financial knowledge, financial management knowledge. Actually, it's because we don't have a very strong, ISPAC body. They should have insisted that an audit committee chairperson should be a member of ISPAC. So now here we have all the directors, these 27 directors. There is nobody who has got financial management knowledge. This company will go down under. Because they will be able to get into board meetings. When they're in the board meetings, these are the kind of board members who will be saying, hey, why can't our Why can't our allowances be 100,000? They're not looking at the implication. They're not looking at the longevity of the company. They're looking at the going concern of the company. Then they're always looking at what year, like that. Like now our current MPs, they just sit down and then they tell the president, so long as you cushion us from this housing levy, etc. So then they're added something. And then now they go punishing all these other employed people simply because they are making decisions in this case here without what here, this financial management background, most of them. Sycophancy. So some board members were employees of the company and had voting rights. Board members, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here being employees of the company, that is a conflicted interest position. You are an employee and then you are a board member. No. It should be, listen and listen to me very well. Listen and listen to me very well. We should have clear separation of power, separation of power roles. We should have the board up there, and then we should have what here? We should have the company down here. All right. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, when we are here at the board level, we should have, of course, the board divided into two again, executive and non-executive. Of course, executive are what here? Executive are supposed to be employees of the company. And executive are the ones who are what here coming from outside, the independent guys. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, whenever it comes to like crucial discussions, the people who should be running the company at the board level, they're what here? The non-executive directors. That is why, if possible, the chairman should be non-executive. These are the people who should be having like what we can call the veto power. They should be having these voting rights here, the voting rights here. So if you are down here, you have your own interest. Perhaps there is a control that is not working for you. And then you go at the board level, fight that control, and then it goes through. Chances are you would want, of course, in this case, you have to take advantage of your trust position and steal. So you'd want some checks and balances, really. So you should not be having these employees, these directors being employees, and then at the board level, they have, in this case, here, huge powers. No, no. All right. Two board members had no appointment letters. This tells me at corporate governance level, there is a problem here simply because, ladies and gentlemen, we're supposed to even have an appointment committee. Once you report on board, we expect you, ladies and gentlemen, the very first thing you should do, amongst, of course, many great things like trainings and whatever, but an appointment letter should be there. It is this appointment letter that is even your contract, the contract between you and the company. It is the one that spells terms and conditions, the one that tells you that this is what you're expected to do. This is what you shall be earning for the service you're offering to the company. So again, this is quite a sad situation. The chairman of the board was running most of the day-to-day activities of the company. This only happens in Africa. And I've seen this severally. I even get some students that I even advise immediately. You get a student giving me a big, please never give me that kind of a business card, because I'll tell you that a business card written here, Boniface Ochieng, CEO and the chairman, they like writing like that, CEO and the chairman. CEO and the chairmanship roles are supposed to be handled by two different people. So such that the chairman runs the board, and of course the CEO runs the company. Now the chairman then should not even have an office, should not have an office in the company. It is only in Africa where you will hear like the chairman of IBC coming to even on TV to make pronouncements. It's not supposed to be like that. The chairman's role ends at the board level. In Kenya, I can tell you things are so confused. You even get like the chairman of a lands commission having like even offices. All right. It's not supposed to be like that. The chairman's role, you are the shepherding directors of the company, and your role ends there. You are never a spokesman, nothing. Like right now, all the companies, ladies and gentlemen, that have good corporate governance, you may not even be knowing who their chairman is. Like, who knows the chairman of Safaricom? The chairman of Safaricom. Who knows the chairman of Safaricom? Please tell me the name. And I will not pin you down because you do not know. It is supposed to be like that. No, it is supposed to be like that. The person who should be knowing all of us is the CEO, but not what here, because the role, somebody who understands this, role of the chairman is to ensure that you run John Ngumi, we shall overcome, is to ensure that we run a progressive board, to ensure that you are able to attend board meetings as the chairman and ensure that the board members are making contributions in terms of coming up with ideas of how the company can improve in operations, productivity, and profitability. That is your role. But once we start seeing you around here with a tie and a black coat, you're moving around, I'll say, this is a stupid man. This man never went through my class. The chairman of the board was running most of the day-to-day activities of the company. This is really a big flout in my country's corporate governance principles. The term limits for the board members were not clear. Imagine this. You just come on board and you don't know how many years you're going to serve. And some members had served the board for more than 20 years. Can you kindly tell me, in companies that have got good corporate governance, what is the maximum term limit of a director What is the maximum term limit of a director? Maximum term limit of a director? 2 terms, yes. 2 terms over how many? One term over how many years? Two terms, 5 years. Yeah. So it depends from one organization to another organization. But in most cases, 1 term is supposed to be how many years? 3 years. So it is 3 years. If you perform well, we give you another last term of 3 years again. So in this case, your maximum should be what year? 6 years. And remember, these are principles. They're not rules-based. So to get another organization, for example, giving a term of 4 years, the maximum should be a term of 5 years, renewable only once. Renewable only once. And if you're looking at, for example, cumulativeness, if somebody gives you like 1 cumulative, then contract, it should be 6 years. 1 term of 6 years, and you cannot come in for extension. You don't come in for extension. All right. But in this case here, optimally, if you look at, for example, companies in the UAE, United States of America, we have in this case here, Europe. Most of them is 3 years. If your dividends per share going down, the shareholders will not allow you to get another term. You are a stupid guy. Go away. Go away. So in this case, you can imagine now a director who has overstayed. Who wants, in this case here, to go on retirement from a company as a director? No. All right. This is very bad. You would need, in this case here, a maximum of, I'll talk of 6 years. A maximum of 2 terms, and each term should be what year? Should be 3 years. Of course, you can use, because I can see here is like you have been with good teachers who have given you those good years. You can use whatever years, but always justify. Use the terms, use the words maximum 10 years, maximum 6 years, 2 terms each of like that. Then the examiner will be able to know, I mean, you know, these are not like hard rules here. Yeah, like, thank you very much, Sylvia. Sylvia must be a great fan of Atwoli. You know, that's now a very good example of outliving your, usefulness. A great dancer knows when to leave the stage. Otherwise, you reach a point, even if you're a very, very good dancer, when you start embarrassing yourself. A great dancer, no matter how good you are in dancing, a great dancer knows when to leave what year, when to leave the stage. When to leave the stage. All right. All right. I mean, that's why for my case, even when you guys, of course, very soon, you guys will start getting into very senior positions. And maybe some of you will look at like appointing Mwalimu. Appointing Mwalimu in this case, I'll not take those offers. I would want to work hard. I would want to be an innovator in this country. All right. Because I know the moment now I start going for those positions, then it means I start being lazy. I'm not saying that you don't take them, but I mean, everybody has got their own like calling. All right. All right. For me, I normally find, and I really sympathize. Like I have a friend of mine, of course, who went and became an MP. I mean, that to me, not unless you are a very clever chap, it can be a point of retardation. You can start, in this case here, progressing negatively. Not unless you're a very bright chap who will take that opportunity now here to start studying, because now you start looking for freebies, looking for easy things. And life was not supposed to be that easy. Remember, we have been commanded to be on this earth to do many, many things. But again, it should be hard labor. Like, the way you guys are working, it's hard labor. It should be hard labor. I don't want anything like I can go and steal easily. No, no. I would rather be here, I'm marketing, I'm getting my money genuinely. Of course, there are politicians who are getting money, but I'm telling you, because I times hang around with a few of them, it's bad life. Can you imagine, like, every other day, you are sitting somewhere to make discussions like, where do we steal today? Where do we get contracts in this case? How can we be paid like this guy, some guy who was paid by National Housing Corporation? Imagine twice over this affordable housing scheme. It has not even, in this case here, been bathed very well. And now you're being paid twice. 100 million? Is it 100 million twice? I would not want that kind of a job. Okay. So the chief executive officer and the other senior managers were political appointees. This, again, a very, very bad thing. We would want a chief executive officer who is very independent so that we can be able to reprimand him whenever he makes a mistake. SCL had no policy on risk management, procurement, and information communication technology. Bad for corporate governance. Corporate governance, one of the key pillars of corporate governance is risk management. Is there anybody here who is working for an organization that does not have a risk management department? Risk management department. Anybody who's working for a company that doesn't have risk management department? Raise up your hand and I'll be able to show you many reasons why you should start looking for another job. Why you should start. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many risks outside here. Risks, of course, which expose your farm to lots of dangers. I mean, you can wake up one day and then you find yourself, in this case here, out of what year? Then we shall overcome. Don't worry, we shall overcome. You get your farm, in this case here, being out of the marketplace 100%. So then you would want some few young fellas who are highly learned, and of course, in this case here, highly experienced, who should be able to sniff and say there are risks here. There are risks here, all right? So for example, like ourselves, we are able to see that there in the next 5-10 years, because of lack of our accountancy bodies here to market CPA very well, we're able to see a risk. Because the other day, right now, you can see the numbers in KASNEB, they have gone down up to 16,000, total number, all right? From ways of 60, 70,000, where this number is dropping down. So the school, we are able to see that from very far away. And for longevity, for us to be able to have this thing now being a going concern, what do? We start asking ourselves, how do we then get into this high school space? How can we get, in this case here, for example, primary school, very good primary school at the senior? How can we have a very good virtual school? The sound is very low. The sound is very low. Is that true? Are you guys able to hear Mwalimu? Yeah, of course, I know from yesterday, I don't know what happened. It's Veronica who said that, oh, it's okay. Great. Great. So then we must diversify. And I would want you to put those, great. Thank you very much. I would want you to put those kind of statements in your answer booklet of leadership and management. Diversification, innovation, great things. So risk management is a key pillar of corporate governance. If you want to govern a company very well, then think about what here? Think about risks. Like now we had COVID-19, which came as a big avatar, a big snake, and it was able to swallow so many companies. It has swallowed so many companies, simply because many companies were not looking at risks. Companies that are looking at risks ahead, for example, they have a very good dividend policy. You will never have them, for example, paying 100% of their earnings as dividends. There are times in this case here, regardless of how they will be hated by shareholders, like what KCB did this time around. KCB said, in terms of paying dividend, no, nothing. We want to retain everything. Why do you think are they retaining everything? It's because they are very strategic. They know here that Dr. Ruto's government is quite going to struggle to get finances. Then they are going to be borrowing, of course, domestically and of course internationally. But domestically, they're going to be borrowing at very high interest rates. Right now, they're giving about 18%. And who are the biggest beneficiaries? It is banks. So they would rather retain everything and then they lend it to government. So in the next 1, 2, 3 years, even Equity Bank, you could see in this case, of course, they paid their dividends, but of course, in this case, they reduced. All right. So we want somebody who is able to see risks and opportunities like that. Risks and opportunities like that. And I would want you to be reasoning like that as you go to any leadership and management exam. SCL and its contracted farmers are yet to embrace modern methods of farming. These guys are doing old school style of farming here. The outgrowers greatly rely on rain to grow their sugarcane. Rain-fed sugarcane takes 3 times more time to mature than sugarcane grown using irrigation. Lack of sufficient cane has resulted to SCL shutting down the manufacturing plant most of the time during the year because now they don't have sugarcane, just like Mumias, because they don't have sugarcane for many, many years. These guys have not been, crushing. They have not been producing here. Most of the time, their machines have been down. A number of employees are usually laid off during the shutdown. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of taking employees for a ride, where you say that, for example, now we are not producing, go home, you will lose out your employees to your competitors. That's why you are lagging behind in terms of profitability, because you're basically coming, putting these employees through, they learn quite a lot, and then you train them straight away for your competitors. We want a situation where we are able to manage our productivity, but you see, who is government? Government is the owner here. Government doesn't care. Even if we shut this thing for the next, these shutdowns can last for several months, leading to a huge shortage of sugar in the market. Oh, I really sympathize with those employees. I sympathize with them. At least for customers outside here, of course, they will suffer from what here, increased prices, but at least they are, bags of sugar to come from Egypt and other countries. The company has a capacity of producing 300,000 metric tons of sugar in a year. However, it only produces 100,000 metric tons. Can you see here? A third. SCL is highly inefficient, poorly governed, and has lost goodwill from farmers and employees. Due to the low pay per metric ton of sugarcane delivered to the company, its contracted farmers have resorted to selling their sugarcane to its competitors. This adds to the company's woes, since farmers are financed by the company to acquire farm inputs such as fertilizers and seedlings, with the hope that the company would recover its money after delivery of sugar and before making payments for the sugarcane delivered. So you're getting losses there. We paid these guys upfront to want to plant things for us. And because now we are not able to pay them, we believe they are contracted. A man must survive. Let me tell you something. That is why even you, whenever you have a company, please ensure that you pay your workers well. Why? Because a man must survive. Even if it means now man eating man, a man must survive. So these guys, contract we have with them, but because we are not able to pay them totally, they have to survive. They are selling now these things, in this case, here to who? To competitors. The same case with KTDA. KTD right now in Nyanza regions like Kisii is really suffering. They had their own farmers in this case here, and because of low bonuses, and of course, at times in this case here, there are guys who are able to pay on those tea leaves they take on a daily basis. They prefer these other daily people here, they give to competitors. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I would want you to really appreciate as also you go to this exam, or rather as you also get into employment, especially at CEO level, you are supposed to know that competition is war. Competition is war. And in war, of course, we shall always have what we call casualties. Casualties. Competition is war. So you have to be really, really smart for your company to be able to thrive against intense competition. You must be very smart for you to be able to reach that level we call the blue ocean. Have you done blue ocean strategy in class? You know, we have the red ocean, and the red ocean here, there's a lot of infighting. The sharks are very strong. There is always blood oozing here. That's red ocean. And then now we have the blue ocean, the place of comfort. You are right deep in the sea. Right deep in the sea. Have you done that concept, the blue ocean? And how do we navigate there? There was such kind of a question some time back here. I can't remember. I don't have the past papers here. Blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean strategy. Have you done that in class? Oh, I forgot to tell you that the way I teach this leadership, I know there is somebody who just wants me to go and read the question and then I start hammering the answers. No, no, no. I use 2 case questions to cover very many things. I don't know whether that is right or wrong for you. Is that a good strategy? I use 2 case questions. So I go through, like right now, I've discovered so many things from this. Iko sawa, great. I'm so sure kuna hapa wanasema mwalimu usiwe tu kuanza za haraka pana. So ladies and gentlemen, remember blue ocean. Now, unfortunately, you'll get somebody here again, very unfortunate. This ninja is just here in Ukami, and he has never seen any ocean. So you tell him that there is an ocean section that is blue. They have never seen. Do we have anybody here who has never seen an ocean? Somebody here who has never seen an ocean? Or a sea? I know they can't talk, but there must be somebody. There must be somebody from Muranga here who has never been to Mombasa. There must be somebody who has never been to Mombasa. There must be somebody. Now they are not talking, but we shall overcome. Villages, we shall overcome. But when you are, for example, in Mombasa there, the Indian Ocean, you'll be able to see, ladies and gentlemen, there are some sections there that are quite blue, right deep. We shall overcome, Cynthia. We shall overcome. Right deep there, you'll be able to see some blue horizon. Nice. Blue horizon, nice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so we have got to, like this quite to the beach here. The ocean there is very dirty. We have so many guys who are even stepping inside there. All right. In this case here, wana swim kule ndani. Ukifika mahali karibu hapo kuna hata crocodile, unaona. Hapo ni mnapigana sana. Intense competition. At this red ocean, there are so many farms in this case here which die, and then of course they are buried near the, we shall overcome. But ladies and gentlemen, great farms that have been able to diversify very well their productivity. They have diversified their productivity very well. Then they'll always be inside there. That when they are in the blue horizon there's no shark that will be able to do what to reach them. Those organizations, in this case here, the organizations that whose going concern will never be threatened. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't talk politics too much, but if you look at, for example, 2017, the Right Honorable Amolo Raila Odinga came and told his followers to resist products of some companies. Is anybody who is old enough to remember those days? Of course, I'm so sure. Here we have got those girls who are 16, young forever, but is there anybody who is able to remember those resisting days? Yeah, Brookside boycotting, yeah, great. Now, I'm telling you, like, Brookside was really affected. Their sales went down by more than 50% because of that boycott. Their milk went bad, especially these areas of Nyanza. Their milk went bad and bad. Most of the companies that we were told to resist, they never, in this case here, did very well. But companies like Safaricom, during the same time, that very time, Safaricom's revenues grew by over 10%. What do you think happened? It's because, ladies and gentlemen, Safaricom is already at the blue ocean side. Because Safaricom has been really able to produce what we call a well-diversified portfolio of products. How do you dare resist Safaricom? Even Moses Kuria was able to tell us that even Raila himself was not able to resist Safaricom. Because, I mean, Safaricom, you put off the line, after some point, unataka kuona kama kuna mtu ametuma kakitu, unaweka on, unaangalia. Ukiweka on, what happens? Data is going. And those guys, even if, for example, their data is not the very, very best, I mean, in terms of data, you can't compare them with their competitors. All right. So those guys have really been able to diversify such that you cannot do without Safaricom. Look at the time when, for example, we have got outage of M-Pesa in Kenya. When we have outage of, like myself, I'd really been used to working with cards and cards at the M-Pesa. So one day, sikuwa na card. Nimekunywa mafuta Shell, napenda kunywa mafuta Shell. Hey, kumbe M-Pesa hakuna. Na huyu kijana leo kumwambia ni M-Pesa hakuna, ananiambia mzee, hapana, weka gari pale kando. Napigia mtu ananiambia M-Pesa pia hakuna. Sisi tuma. Ndio bado kijana after kitu 20 minutes ananiambia mzee, nimejua ni hii kitu ndi yako. Ni M-Pesa hakuna. Sasa relax. So nikasikia niko relax. Uzuri wanaweka ma hoteli kwa ngenda kunywa hoteli hapo Katai Ikaru. So whenever we have this M-Pesa outage, I mean, it's a national outcry. Simply because, ladies and gentlemen, right now, where Safaricom has reached, it's like a way of what year? A way of life. That's what we are calling what year? Blue ocean. It's quite unfortunate that right now we are trying to interfere with it politically. If I were the president, I would really leave Safaricom out of the armpits of the government. I will not try even to have a CEO like now the current CEO. I'm so sure this guy could be on his way out. Very unfortunate. And this young man, he should not be touched by anybody. There are companies you don't bring like the chairman. Let those companies in this case here be very competitive. Even if they are hiring people from outside, let them be very competitive. Don't bring government. They don't have government interfering. All right. Otherwise, I mean, we never used to have like the problems we are having currently. All right. But we shall overcome. So blue ocean. Have you been able to pick that concept of blue ocean? So a company which is in the blue ocean section has been able to diversify very well. It has got very strong what year internal control systems. Its innovation is always what year top notch. Every time they are thinking about what year, about something new. About something new. Like now they introduced what we call black box. They called me black box. I hope you know what black box is. Right? So black box, they would want to have, like now they have been able to see that there's a problem in Mandera. There's a problem in some of these northeastern counties in terms of schools. So under black box, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are going to put like the tutorials of great teachers in the black box, and then somebody will be able, and they are partnering with this Kenya National Library, right? Putting screens over there. So if you're a child and you have, for example, a national library around your place or other places here, there's a big screen there, you can go and study chemistry. You study this and this. So these guys are thinking 10 years down the line. And as we guys who are in Africa here, our small businesses here, we are not thinking even beyond one day. So we are still here. When your competitor introduces something smaller, you are really hurt. Your competition will kill you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, as you get to these particular exams, always in terms of leadership and management case questions, always think about the balanced scorecard. So balanced scorecard, I'll speak through it very fast. We have 4 sections. We have 4 perspectives. Balanced scorecard, if you're taking your notes. We have the financial perspective. We have the customer perspective, the processes perspective, learning and innovation perspective. BSc model, balanced scorecard. So balanced scorecard, we have number 1, the financial perspective. Number 2, we have the customer perspective. Number 3, the processes perspective. Number 4, we have what we call learning and innovation. I've written down those points, high level. People like Paul, I expect you to. Acronym, BSc, a balanced scorecard. You write very first, and then if possible, please share that on our WhatsApp to make my work easier. All right. So you must ensure that you get these things financially well as a company. Please put a lot of internal control systems surrounding what your financial issues. Let you not be that company that just wakes up in the morning and thinks about just incurring costs, they're incurring expenses. No. If I'm appointed today, the CEO, of course, which I can't be appointed around one, I want really to now concentrate with the RCM. All right. If I'm appointed, for example, today as a CEO of Kenya Airways, I'll ensure that the cost, of course, I'm also looking at the future, but cost control will be a key thing. I'll ensure that my revenues grow. Revenues have to grow. So revenues, how do we get these revenues? Of course, to get revenues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at the passengers who are traveling. Right now, we have, in this case here, people do a lot of business on the cabin there. They're selling food, isn't it? Although in most cases, their food is all food. I would rate Ethiopian airline food much higher than our food here. All right. So in this case, you look at the revenue. How then do you diversify here? So the revenue must always be growing. And then, of course, the costs must be controlled. I'm not talking of cost minimization. I'm talking about what here? Cost control. I'm talking about cost control. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, you go to the customer perspective. Sorry, before I move out of this financial, the concept of controls. You are going to be charged with the responsibility as the overseer, as the CEO there. So you must ensure that we have got internal controls that are very effective on how you're spending, etc. Great KPIs for the salesman. KPIs, key performance indicators for the salesman, to ensure that they are able to push the sales up. To ensure that they are able to push the sales up. So that's the first perspective. So if I were you, I would have mentioned there, under financial perspective, we have increased revenues, control costs, and then we go to the customer perspective. So customer perspective, I'm the CEO, I'll always watch on four things. Number one, customer acquisition. Are we acquiring customers? That's number one, customer acquisition. So like what I do at RCM, I have very strong, I can call them customer care people. So the customer care people, every time they get a call, every time they get inquiries, so we have what we call a sales pipeline. We put all this into some kind of a pipeline. So this pipeline we are able to measure. You know, like on Facebook, we have what we call suspects. People we suspect that they may want CPA. So from Facebook now, we are able to put like a link there, WhatsApp link. And then these guys from the WhatsApp link, they're able to come to WhatsApp. Now, once they come to WhatsApp, they become prospects. So now from prospects, how then, you know, once he has become a prospect, now we say in the pipeline, we're at 30% sales pipeline, 30% of closing the deal. Now from there, they start making questions. How much is this? Now the sales pipeline is growing. The water is flowing there nicely. From there, now we move them from the sales pipeline to our customers. So normally what I do, if there are customer care that are able to convert like 80% of the sales pipeline, that they have their own WhatsApp, they're watching all over it, and then they're able to convert like 80%. Even if this young girl does not have any qualifications, I'll not have a problem giving them even 200,000 a month. I don't have a problem with that. But again, like how ACCA tells us in terms of acquisition, you've given somebody a sales pipeline, which has got, say, 1,000 people. Out of that 1,000 people, when we come to review, you get that there is nobody who has been converted at all. ACCA is really against that. If your customer acquisition rate is less than 10%, ACCA will tell you, of course, from the books it has, they'll tell you that kind of a customer, or not a customer, but employee, should not even be transferred to any department. It's a useless employee. Get a better way of detaching that employee from the company. However good, you know, as a CEO, you need to have a thick skin, right? Kenda kuvumilia, utakuwa na liabilities wengi sana. Kwa kampuni. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Listen and listen to me very well. So now we are talking of customer acquisition. From there, we have customer satisfaction. So then that's why we normally come with questionnaires asking you guys, I mean, how are our teachers teaching? Others will tell me, Mwalimu Aura, now you are becoming old. please retire. And I'll tell them yes, because I mean, that's also within the context of what here, corporate governance. Because corporate governance doesn't want any individual to be very smart for a very long time. No, we need to have these young men who are now more energized to come and take over as now we grow and even become what here, chairpersons in the companies. That's now thinking about longevity. Because if it's Aura who is running the show throughout, what will happen? That is why I stopped teaching papers like LM. I used to teach LM like crazy. But nowadays, I do not take LM totally. And I'm getting now slowly off the other papers. In the next 2-3 years, I should not be teaching at RCM. I should be able to take a strategic role where I train now the trainer. I become a trainer of the trainers. And then now those guys should be able to do what here? That's called customer. The customer's satisfied. From there now we have what we call customer loyalty. So the customer loyalty, the literature is very, very nice. It tells you to put an artificial kind of a rope on your existing customers. So this rope means that whenever in the future, these guys, for example, hear anybody talking about CPA, they shall always refer customers to us. Even themselves, if, for example, right now, most of you have got very young kids in wherever, when they come to high school, and you remember Aura and of course RCM, they have high school tuition, they cannot refer these guys anywhere. They'll bring these students where? Home here. They'll bring these students home here. So loyalty, have a loyalty program. Have in this case here, like for example, RCM right now we are almost, I've always been looking at this thing, but we need to craft it very well. For example, for sure, you've had in this case here, this student who has been with you from ATD. Now he's clearing the intermediate, not intermediate, but advanced level with you. I mean, we should be able to have even like one paper. I mean, as a sign of loyalty, I mean, this is pure loyalty. We should be able to have like one paper where these guys here study for free. Where they study, I mean, we must have a loyalty program. At your workplaces, do you guys have loyalty programs? You like Safaricom has the bonga points. They really help. They really help. Like, for example, we have in this case here, Zawadi points by most of these supermarkets. They really help. Do you guys have loyalty programs at your workplace? Sherry, woi, we shall overcome. Juliana, no, we need to introduce them because I'm so sure you guys are the next champions of the industry. You guys are the next champions of the industry. You guys are the next champions of the industry. Wherever you'll get CEO position, introduce these kind of things. Introduce them. Ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call awareness. So 4 things under customer perspective. Acquire customers, satisfy them, ensure that they are loyal, and then awareness. Awareness will be able to feed, like now the acquisition. Awareness is about publicity. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we are never, ever very, very serious with marketing ourselves. Remember, under awareness, you're supposed to publicize yourself day and night. Once you've created a sales pipeline like the WhatsApp groups, always ensure that you are sharing content there without ceasing. Without ceasing. Always share things there. Market. Somebody told me some time back hapa kwa Kiswahili kwamba chema chajiuza ati kibaya chajitembe. Uongo. Hata kama ni kizuri aje, unaweza onekana namna gani kama utembei huko nje? Sasa chema chajiuza ati kibaya chajitembeza. Chema ukae tu kwa nyumba. Those products, we must publicize them. We must publicize them. That is why I normally sympathize with my CPA students. Honestly, of late, I'm not seeing really very, very aggressive students here. As we champions of the industry currently are exiting the roles, I'm not seeing anybody who, for example, are able to match, like, for example, my prowess. And yet I'm an old man. All right? Because most of you, number one, perhaps you believe in employment, which you'll, of course, get. I mean, I've not seen anybody coming out here, for example, in TikTok, these social media handles, advertising themselves, of course, professionally. Very few do that. The people that I'm seeing there, they are the ones that I normally see who are very aggressive. They are sharing notes of 50 shillings. Now, where will 50 shillings take you? All right. I mean, I need to see somebody who will be able to dress up very well, and then they are able to go to social media. Talk about, for example, like I'm a finance manager. I've done in this case here, this fine. Even if you are only 18 years old, trust me, you will still get a following. Talk about investment options that people have outside here. Talk about why businesses are failing. All right. Talk about, for example, how somebody can come up with an effective, optimal, like taxation structure. Talk about e-teams. And then you get so many guys following you. And you should be able to really do it aggressively. If there is anything that I would want my students to be doing in terms of awareness, I would want you guys to be content creators. Unajua kuna aina mbili. Sasa tumeingia katika, ilikuwa agrarian revolution, ikaenda sio industrial, sasa imeingia katika social media. Na watu hawajajua hiyo siri. Wewe kazi yako ni consume content ya wengine. Ukiulizwa unajua sijui nani, unajua LNN, ukiona video ya kina Eve, unaangalia wewe ni content consumer. And with this big knowledge that you have, you're supposed to be a content creator because now we are in this industry. This industry is a huge industry. It's a huge industry. So ladies and gentlemen, please, I would want to, for the sake of your future, there is Mzee who told me somewhere something that during those old days, they used to see, for example, like in Kissing, guys would go to the scheme and they say that I want like 20 acres here, 20 acres here. And then during those days, in this case, they were wearing those bell-bottom trousers. The only thing they knew was how to chase girls around. That is now what is happening. People are creating their spaces. People have gone to Twitter. They are getting 1 million followers and you have got zero. That is the question that people will come to ask you. Where we have reached right now, this is social media revolution. We must be at the forefront. Even if, for example, you're employed, you can even start just something. It's about you promoting your skills. Kama nawaambia kila siku ugali ya Mluya. You can just have a small thing there on YouTube. Unafunza tu watu kupika ugali na chai tamu ya Mluya. And surprisingly, you'll get people following you. All right? Unaanza tu kitu tunasema namna hii, like a model ya kumarket hata nywele. Just something so because you don't have to compete really with your employer, right? For now, you can give them space. But after some time, you will be able to, if there's somebody who knows that, ladies and gentlemen, social media is big. It's big business. Is there somebody who knows that? Is there somebody who knows that social media is big business? It's like they don't know. It's like they don't know. It's like they don't know. They don't know. That's why the guys that I'm following, like in this class, I follow a few guys here. Let me not mention their names. The only things I normally see them doing, they do very good photos with their kids. Very good. Like this. They do like this. They do like this. And then they put them. They forget that this is a social market. As much as it's a social media, it's a social market. I'm not selling my children there. And there's nothing wrong putting children there. But the most important thing, as you do like this, and you show that down there, you say, CPA, Sylvia, your tax accountant. Because that's a market. I mean, how do you go to a market just to show us your face? Show us your face, but at the end of the day, market something there. And that is why you see these big companies like EABL defeating us big time. Because they know awareness. They know how to publicize their products. And they even know the slogans to use. So for example, they'll come and tell these young people, Leonida, amesema mwalimu waki, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. I hope, Leonida, you're not among those guys who do like this. We shall overcome. Like myself, I'm very aggressive. Actually, I've hired a whole team of what here? Social media experts here. You will see from next month what will be happening in my handles. I get in this case here, huge following. And even content I'll not be talking about just, like now somebody told me that Mwalimu, you have a lot of exposure about running of these companies. Why don't you have like just a blog where you're advising in this case here, like the current managers? Like that's what I'm going to do. Awareness. You must know how to publicize yourselves. Then from there, you go to the processes. So processes, ladies and gentlemen, you expect to, number one, automate your processes, all of them. If possible, automate your processes, all of them. If it's a revenue collection, automate. Let's not have a situation where, ladies and gentlemen, you're collecting your revenue, cash. No. Automated systems. Automated systems means what here? Internal control systems are what here? Very strong. Automated systems. If it is accounting department, ensure that you have what here? You have an SAP tool. You have a good ERP tool. All right. Like right now, RCM, of course, we have acquired a very good ERP that is able even to talk to our students. Of course, we had huge data. I'm so sure this semester there are a few of you we had issues with. But of course, in the near future, that will be corrected. It should be like automatic. Like once you pay fees to us, we are able to see straight away. You will get a message. You're going to get a receipt on your WhatsApp, etc. Things should be automated. Automated. So even at your workplace, automated. Is there somebody in this case who is working for a company that is doing manual bookkeeping? No. All of us in this case are using, for example, the quick cookbooks online. Or a case we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. So systems should be automated. And then, ladies and gentlemen, for these processes to work, then the management systems must work as well. There's manual bookkeeping. Sorry for that. The systems in this case here must work as well. And for the systems to work, then we need good managers to oversee the processes. Good managers, they of course know the contemporary management systems. So for example, they know what we call UMBWA. UMBWA is management by walking around. UMBWA. Inampea stress sana. So UMBWA is management by walking around. So if you get managers who are not able to walk around and oversee processes in various parts of the country, then automatically we are not going anywhere. If you get lazy managers whose work is to sit on some comfortable red chairs that are swinging around as if you're a young boy, as if you're a young girl, or you're young at heart, I don't know, swinging around as everybody else is working, that company will not go anywhere. We have to be managers who are hands-on. Of course, we're delegating. But remember, as you delegate, you still have to, we are hiring Generation Z employees. Generation Z employees, of course, would want, like, you have to really be warm to them. You must be close to them. Otherwise, these are fellas that will come. I mean, it's quite chaotic. We have hired some of them to be trainers. Somebody at the middle of a class will stop, in this case, they start, in this case here, watching like a small video, all right? It's Generation Z. So in this case here, you're not saying that you start you still have to be around them. You're walking around. Otherwise, the processes in this case here, on TikTok, yes, systems will not work. So apart from that, we need guys who know, for example, those management, the management scholars. Like now we have what we call Henry Fayol. Do you still remember Henry Fayol's 5 functions of management? Henry Fayol's 5 functions of management. Do you remember them? Henry Fayol's 5 functions of management. I've already taught you these guys. It's pork like that. It's pork. It's pork. Pork. Yeah, planning. I can see you guys are mentioning there. Yeah. Planning, organizing. We have communicating or communications. We have coordination. And then we have what we call controlling. So good managers will be able to know the essence of communication. Don't be that kind of a person who hates other colleagues permanently. Of course, at the workplace, we'll be able to rub shoulders, at times in a very bad way. But we should be able to forgive. And if we don't forgive, then try to forget things and try to get like everybody. You have to be talking, because that is how we communicate. There are guys who keep, I don't know whether you have them at your workplaces, there are guys who will keep grudges forever. You should be having them at your workplaces, but it should not be you. If you're my student and you are keeping grudges, then you have got an emotional intelligence issue. Emotionally, we have to pray to God to be very intelligent. We must know how to forgive and get to talk to each other quite fast. All right. So processes. So how I know you guys know. For example, like something like empathy. Empathy is a serious thing, especially in manufacturing companies. Empathy. Elton Mayo. You remember Elton Mayo? Empathy. All right. Where in this case you're working around, you get an employee who does not know, for example, how to fix a certain bolt in a mechanical engineering department. Usianza kusema sasa nyinyi wajinga sana. Hii shule hata siku hizi hazifunzwi. Apana. As much as you may want, of course, to throw some kind of words to them, number one, put yourself in their shoes. All right? Please help them. Empathy, Elton Mayo, the School of Human Relations, the School of Human Relations, empathy, for systems to work. All right? So all those scholars, I'm so sure you guys are very good at them. For example, we have, as I'm working always, for example, we have what we call, this scientific management, Frederick Taylor. Frederick Taylor is this gentleman who took for employees to work. These guys are what here for employees to work. These guys are like machines. Pay them piece rate. Okay. So at your workplace, I have those kind of systems here. Like, for example, ladies and gentlemen, if it is salesmen, give them, in this case here, give them commissions. Of course, try also to exercise empathy where you're giving them some base. So try to exercise empathy. So I hope you guys will now be able to go and look at the other systems, which is I'll be talking about. Now, from there, we go to the last section. Last section, like these directors, those 27 directors in our question, are they being trained? It's learning and innovation. Are they being trained? Because learning, every employee has to be a long life learner. Every employee should be learning forever. And you should be able to sponsor them if you can manage, if you have finances. If you don't have finances, just give them the time and they'll be able to study on their own. But of course, there must be some KPIs. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me very well here. Under learning and innovation, we normally use Dr. Gilbert's couple concept under learning. Remember under learning, under Gilbert's couple, if you remember very well, we spoke of three things. That each employee, number one, must be a doer. Each employee must be a trainer. Each employee must be a trainee. Those three things. Each employee must be a doer. Every employee must be a doer. Don't have your relatives in your company who are not working at all. They'll spoil the others. Each employee must be a doer. That's number one. And then number two, each employee must be a trainer. All of us have got things we can train others. And each employee must be a trainee. In short, Gilbert is the father of mentorship in companies. You need to have a formal mentorship structure. When an employee comes and they are being onboarded, please give them somebody who will be able to hold their hands as they walk around, as they walk through. So we have that is learning. And then innovation is about coming up with new ways of doing things. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you cease to innovate, you die. The moment you cease to innovate, you die. So you must be what here? You must be very innovative. I'm telling you, colleges that were not able to innovate during COVID, most of them died. Hotels that were not able to innovate, most of them died. Even right now with this B&B thing, bed and breakfast thing, bed and breakfast thing, bed and breakfast, yes, is really still killing most of these hotels. So any hotel that is not able, for example, to open up to the bed and breakfast kind of a model, and even start advertising themselves that way as well, they're destined in this case here to die. Natural death. I mean, I go to the gym at Sarova Stanley. I'm sorry to say, but most of the times, their occupancy level doesn't meet. I even wonder how they at times manage. You can't compare Sarova Stanley today with Sarova Stanley 4 or 5 years ago with their great swimming pool up there. All right. So, of course, I'm so sure they are trying, but at the end of the day, they have to do quite a lot because you see, even the austerity measures coming from government. So if the government says, for example, we shall not be having any events at Sarova, what will happen? Issues. Revenue issues. So we need to keep on innovating. And innovation is about coming up with new products. For example, you have new products here. You have new products every other day. This thing of saying that I would want to specialize, I'll only tell you to specialize with your spouse alone. All the other things in this case here, always many. So if it's, for example, teaching like here, I can't just teach one subject alone. I should be able to teach many papers for me to survive in the industry. For me to survive in the industry. Are we together there, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together there? Somebody's inboxing here that even your spouse, you still need to do something. What? You don't want to go to heaven. I'm always in Kimathi Street, yes. Always, yes. Anytime I'm free. And how comes you don't say hi? I'm always in Kimathi Street because I'll do my breakfast there. Not my breakfast, but my morning gym. Great, 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 great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me, I think I've been able to exhaust that. So if you allow me, then I'll be able to go to the questions here. So you're told here, due to the low pay per metric ton of sugarcane delivered to the company, its contracted farmers have resorted to selling their sugarcane to its competitors. The competitors of SCL, they're using the latest technology to manufacture sugar. SCL, a company which used to control 79% of the market share, uses an archaic technology. For SCL to return to profitability, the company has no choice but to acquire integrated enterprise resource management because of the processes. With the trade liberalization, competition has gone a notch higher. More sugar factories are being established, which pay employees better and the farmers on time. Business people are importing now cheaper sugar, which they sell at a price below the cost of production at SCL. The company has on various occasions imported sugar, which is packaged and sold to the local market instead of manufacturing sugarcane from local farmers. In some instances, earnings from sugar ended up in private accounts of the senior managers. So early in the year 2015, the company suspended a number of employees implicated in irregular termination of contracts with farmers. The company lost 400 million shillings, mostly through legal suits. More money was lost as the company ignored guidelines on pricing. The company's procurement systems did not conform in the government's procurement and disposal regulations. So of course, this is a processes system, a processes problem. Other malpractices in the company include a large amount of sugar that is manufactured by SCL leaves the stores of the company undocumented. Processes issue. Controls issue. This done with the knowledge of senior management and security officials at the factory. Of course, the managers, in most cases, are the biggest beneficiary. Collusion between sugar distributors and senior officials of SCL to give undocumented credit advances to selected distributors. So like now, what is happening in the fertilizer industry, you can imagine somebody who just began a company in 2022 is getting a very serious contract. How does he even get resources to be able to distribute? It means in this case that even NCPB was able to advance him money. So automatically, this is somebody who is working at the behest of some senior person, maybe a minister, or something, because of course our president is saved. He can't be there. All right. All right. Which is so sad. All right. You can imagine you buy fertilizer and then you get soil and there'll be no any compensation, you know. Collusion is very bad. Collusion between sugar distributors and senior officials of SCL to give undocumented, no documentation here. That's why we prefer having automated systems, SAP. It's good that they're thinking about an ERP to come there. So you're told the laxity in collecting sales proceeds from buyers in order to earn interest and the kickbacks for sales what year officials. So laxity in collecting sales proceeds from buyers in order to earn interest and the kickbacks for sales what year officials. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well, that we have farmers who are very bright. Some of these farmers, not farmers, but buyers. Let's read again this. So laxity in collecting sales from buyers, yes, in order to earn interest and kickbacks for sales officials. So please listen. So some of these buyers, they have bought lots of sugar. You know, they buy lots of sugar. For example, sugar worth even 20 million. So then we have somebody who is relaxing the credit system, telling these guys you can stay with that 10 million even for 6 months, and then you will pay. You know, when you take 10 million today to the national government, buy treasury bills, buy treasury bills with it. Just do like 362, 365 days, 365 days, like almost a whole year, or even 180 days, 180 days, 180 days, 6 months exactly. All right. So this 180 T-bills will get serious money out of that. Take some money, give this person who was not collecting this money from you. All right. And of course, at the end of the day, these guys will keep on even returning back this money to the T-bills. At the end of the day, the company will not be paid totally. Bad collusion. Bad collusion. Ladies and gentlemen, we are told here not harvesting contracted farmers came on time. A farmer has to bribe, imagine, the company's employee for sugarcane to be harvested. SCL is an important company in the economy since many livelihoods depend on the company for survival. The government in the past came up with interventions which seem not to work. Some of these interventions are the setting up of importation quotas and punitive customs duty on imported sugar. So Nambia, these other countries can only give us 1 million maximum. So it's a quota, restrictions. Writing off loans to millers such as SCL and farmers. These guys, like they were talking about Kenya government. Kenya government always does this, all right? And in this case here, we have given, for example, loans to the millers, and then we said to write them off. But who are those appointed millers? They were our assistants, our brothers, assisting SCL to settle debts to farmers, improving infrastructure, such as roads in the sugar belts, reduction in tariffs on raw materials and capital inputs. It is evident that for SCL to be saved from collapse, more strategies need to be developed. More lip service will not help turn around a company which was once a gem in the sugar belt. With the use of suitable examples, illustrate how the body of governance for state corporations in your country has been flouted by SCL. I have one request to you guys. One request to you guys that we take a 3 minutes break. We take a 3 minutes break. We take a 3 minutes break. When we come back and I suppose nobody will disappear. They'll come back. Is that okay? So 3 minutes, we come back at 9:16. 9:16. We're coming back at 9:16. We're coming back at 9:16. We are now back, right? We're now back. Rose is saying it depends on personal devotion. Don't generalize. Rosemary, what we are saying here, you should not take it very seriously, Rose. These are just jokes to enable us to do what here. Understand. Who am I? I'm just a young Ochugunu trying to make a living, isn't it? All right. So are we back? I can see we have lost about five. Are we back? Are we back? Can we continue now? Are we ready? Are we ready, guys? Give me feedback. Give me feedback. Give me feedback. So now that I've been able to explain this thing very well like that, now answers is going to be a very easy thing because it's just going through. All right. So what I would want to do very fast, is to attach this answer here. Now, the students who are following me on YouTube, I'm so sure you will have a small problem, but we shall overcome because I'll be able to share here. So LM. Paul is the one who knows me very well. And if I don't share immediately, I will never share. This Paul man knows me in a bad way. All right. So tingiza mkono if you're able to see the solution. If you're able to see the solution, if you're able to see the solution, if you're able to see the solution. Yes, thank you very much. So then I should be able to share here. Vero, great. But I'm a bit worried because Vero has started panicking. And yet she has been attending all classes. So as a father, I'm worried a bit. I have to be proud. This time around, we are passing nothing like that. No worries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are told here the solution. Number one is about corporate governance. So the governance structure of Sugar Company Limited exemplifies several deviations from ideal corporate governance practices, which might be indicative of broader issues within state corporations in the country. The examples are, number one, government interference. Of course, corporate governance, you're supposed to be very independent. The fact that this company is owned 100% by government indicates significant government control over the company's operations. This can lead to a lack of independence in decision-making processes, with directors being appointed primarily through political channels rather than based on merit. That's our corporate governance interference automatically. Lack of director qualifications, you saw this. The governance audit revealed that some directors lack adequate qualifications, with 6 of them being secondary school dropouts. These highlights a failure to ensure that board members possess the necessary expertise and the skills to effectively oversee the company's affairs. Long tenures and unclear term limits. Some board members have served for more than 20 years, suggesting a lack of turnover. We need these directors to go so we can get other new ones, bringing in with them, of course, fresh perspectives within the board. Unclear term limits can contribute to stagnation and entrenched interests, hindering effective governance. And clear term limits can contribute to stagnation. So we want term limits, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can have these younger guys coming and taking over. And that is why, for example, right now, there is this thing that is quite ripe, only that now politicians have not kind of easily messed them. There is quite a big talk in town that the retirement age should be reduced from 60 to 55. Retirement age should be reduced from 60 to 55. Is it a good proposal? What do you think? Is it a good proposal that now would want some young men, fresh blood in the system? Because, I mean, when we are up there, Is it a good proposal? It's good and bad, isn't it? Good and bad. Good because the moment we exit the system, then young men will be able to come and take over and they get a livelihood. We don't want situations where young men down there really, they feel like we are eating everything. No, no, no. They should be able to get a fair chance to contribute to the national development. National development. And then bad because like in America, you know, these civilized nations, I mean, they have nothing like retirement. So long as you've got energy, you continue in this case, you're serving and doing what you're serving and serving and serving and serving. All right? Because when you retire, now we tell you are retiring at 55. Someone like me who is really a workaholic, you know, I'm a workaholic. I like working. Many times in this case, I volunteered even in primary school level, whenever schools close, because I can't imagine like doing a whole month without teaching. So if you take me now and tell me that now you've retired 100%, I will die. I will die. All right. All right. So in this case here, we should be able to have like some kind of a balance, although most of my age mates who are 40-something there are panicking because most of them in this case here messed, or rather they never took this concept of savings and building a few things here and there. They never took it seriously. Sawa na stuka. Leo na stuka kwanza unaambiwa hata bank mingi zinaanza kukataa. Akianza kuwa umeanza kuwa 50, haiwezi kupea long term loan. Unaanza kukataa, unastuka. So that is a wake-up call, all of us. So we have here long-term tenors, 20 years. I mean, we don't want that. We have dual roles and the conflicts of interest. Dual roles and the conflicts of interest. The audit revealed that some board members were also employees of the company, blurring the lines between oversight and the management roles. This can lead to conflicts of interest and compromise the board's ability to provide independent supervision. Lack of policies and risk management. SEL absence of clear policies on risk management, procurement, and innovation technology. Governance indicates a failure to establish robust frameworks for decision making. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow then me, I will be able to ensure competitiveness. I'll be able to go back to the question and then I read this question. Let me just drop this and then I just share in a way that you guys will be able to follow everything nicely. I should share screen like that. So B, explain 5 measures that SEL should put in place to ensure that the company is competitive in the market. To ensure that the company is competitive in the market, what should they do? We have already looked at most of those things. Now ours is to read the solution. Invest in modern technology. They should not lag behind. Already competitors are ahead. Upgrade to modern manufacturing technologies to enhance efficiency and productivity, enabling SEL. And this is what I would want you guys to do whenever you are answering a case question. You should be mentioning the name of the company somewhere. Enabling SEL to produce sugar more cost effectively and maintain quality standards comparable to competitors. And then number 2, improve governance structure. Reform the board of directors by appointing qualified individuals. Reform the board of directors by appointing qualified individuals with relevant expertise in financial management, agriculture, because this is an agricultural sector company, and the corporate governance. Establish clear term limits to promote turnover and prevent the entrenchment of interest. Number 3, enhance farmer support programs. Provide comprehensive support to contracted farmers, including training in modern farming techniques, access to irrigation facilities, and timely payments for sugarcane deliveries. This will improve yields and ensure a consistent supply of raw materials to the company. Number 4, strengthen risk management. Develop and implement robust risk management policies to identify, assess, and mitigate potential threats to the company's operations, such as market volatility, supply chain disruptions, and regulatory changes. Currently, of course, SEL does not even have a risk management framework. Focus on product quality and innovation. Invest in research and development to diversify product offerings and explore value-added opportunities in the sugar market. Emphasize quality control measures to differentiate SEL's products and what year maintain customer satisfaction. Ladies and gentlemen, remember Michael Porter's, if you can recall Michael Porter, Michael Porter gave us 2 great things. The cost leadership strategy, I would have quoted it here. As per Michael Porter, we need to be a cost leader in our industry. And how do we become a cost leader? Like those 27 directors are too many. They are very expensive, even if they are not given as the amount. Even if they're going to earn 1 shilling. Competitors, of course, will not be having 27 directors. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, for this organization to be ahead of the company here, Michael Porter also told us something to do with the differentiation. I'm giving my proposals. Look at Mumia Sugar. Mumia Sugar, for so long, they were seeing effluents. Effluents, in this case, here, coming out of their production processes. And those effluents, in this case, here, used to be quite corrosive. They would burn whatever grass they get on the way, even trees on the way. And then now the Mzungu CEO went there, said that, hey, where can't we produce electricity? This thing can, so they brought in experts and they were able to produce electricity, which they were able to supply to the national grid. But unfortunately, because of the greediness of our politicians, that project again went down. I mean, we are killing like a whole region. Do you know how many people look upon Mumia Sugar Company in Western region? I mean, if you go to Bungoma today, most of those counties, they are a pale, they are a shell of their former glory. All right? That is why we should not, like now if Mumias was to be left, like even to supply just electricity alone, I mean, it would be a big thing. Even right now, we are just seeing politics. Of course, it has started. You can't even know whether it started crashing or they're importing and repackaging. Like this company was also doing repackaging in their own. So you go even when the president said that now we have started, before even they crash anything, a lot of sugar of Mumias from Mumias is on the shelves. We wonder, what kind of a people are we? We're not seeing that this unemployment thing is going to become a killer to us. Those are companies, I mean, that should be able to hire accountants, hundreds of them like that. All right. So I would quote so many things for this company to be a leader and look at the balance scorecard. I'll have to look at, in this case here, cost cutting. I'll look at differentiation strategy that it should be able to differentiate their products in this case here. For example, they should be able to have like the white sugar, the brown sugar, differentiation, for example, in terms of like even the size. You should have like 1 kilogram packages, 2 kilogram. I mean, give variety because when you give variety, you reach out to more people. Reach out to more people. For it to be competitive, ladies and gentlemen, according to Michael Porter, processes should be able to work in the interest of everybody. They need, of course, the automation, like we've seen these people saying here, automation. All right. They would need all these systems so we have leakages, like even how we are paying our farmers here. Would want that documented very well in a system. We should be able to know when this farmer brought on board, when it comes to even paying them, it should be on a fee-for basis, fast in, fast out. So, and that can only be tracked if you have got systems, ladies and gentlemen. The same case with, once this is automatically, once we've been able to look at the sales side, then even the employees missing salaries. Having in this case here, like mandatory leaves, I mean, will not be there. Will not be there. Will not be there. Will not be there. All right. All right. All right. Great. So we shall overcome. So nothing is there. I was there yesterday. It is terrible. We killed a very good company. I mean, Mumias was a big thing. Mumia Sugar was a big thing. There are two companies that I know. If we can really get God himself now coming and maybe touching a few fellas here, and then we get them, in this case here, done what here, revived, then we shall be able to go places. We have in this case here, Mumia Sugar. Of course, there is Nzoia, but I mean, I'm looking at regions. So I would revive Mumia Sugar. I would revive Mount Tex in Nanyuki. Mount Tex. And then we ban Mitumba. We ban Mitumba. We ban Mitumba for us to be able to spur our economy, to be able to have productivity going up. When productivity goes up, we shall be able to create more job opportunities and we shall be able to create surplus for purpose of exportation. When we export, we earn revenue in foreign exchange. We stabilize our currency in a good way, not this artificial support that you're having at the moment. No, we'd want our Kenya shilling to be true. Ladies and gentlemen, from there, if you allow Mwalimu here, I hope I've shared the correct one. Let me go back to sharing again. What I would want you to know, at the end of the day, this leadership and management is all about how you defend yourself. It's all about your exposure to things. And then we are told here to suggest 6 remedies available to SEL where directors are found culpable of breaching fiduciary duties. So just read very fast here, where we get these guys stealing from us. Legal action.
The company can pursue legal action against directors found to have breached their fiduciary duties, seeking remedies such as damages, removal from the board, and injunctions to prevent further misconduct. Corporate governance reforms implement reforms to strengthen corporate governance practices, including enhanced oversight mechanisms, independent board committees, and transparency measures. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these guys misbehave. You can even, try to forget a few things here and there, but as a company, introduce training and OTA education, provide training and education programs for directors to raise awareness of their fiduciary duties and responsibilities, ensuring that they understand and adhere to ethical standards and best practices. Then we have restitution and accountability. Require culpable directors to make restitution for any losses incurred as a result of their misconduct and hold them accountable for their actions through disciplinary measures, including termination from their positions here. Engagement with stakeholders, including shareholders, employees, and the regulatory authorities to rebuild the trust and the confidence in the company's governance processes and demonstrate a commitment to ethical conduct and accountability. Independent investigation, conduct independent investigations into allegations of misconduct involving external experts or regulatory bodies to ensure impartiality and thoroughness in the examination of wrongdoing. And you must have seen this really happening. Like right now, this music, copyright, whatever. We have now a hired auditor who is trying to look at what is happening, independent here. So that's an independent investigator. You can do forensic audits there. Once you have these guys now culpable, then you will straight away think about restitution here. Talk to these guys. Courts are never a solution. Please, ladies and gentlemen, never endeavor at your level to be litigants. If I hear that my student has taken someone to court, of course, there is no problem. You can, because it's also your right. But at the end of the day, don't be a litigant. Most of these courts don't have our solutions. No. At the end of the day, you'll do a land case with your brother 5, 6 years down the line after you've paid lawyers and you've paid them. Then the courts will come and tell you, no, we have what we call alternative dispute resolution. This is a home thing. Go and discuss. Why did you take it as a home thing from the word go? All right. So first of all, before going to court should be the end, and after you've tried everything. So in this case here, like restitution, talk to these guys, tell these guys, from these independent investigations, we've seen that you guys have stolen. Are you able to give us back this money? All right. So you start with that. So of course they'll tell you, fine, we'll give you, or rather, sasa chukua kutoka mshahara, like that. There is the sacking them. You can sack these guys. There is a legal action. And when you decide now to go into legal, don't go into it halfway. It has to be full length now, whole length now. Once you get, in this case here, like a court order, then if it's ordering you to go and get auctioneers, now don't, because you went the legal way. Now go for the auctioneer, attach this person's properties. But now remember, your name will be all over on social media. People will know that you're a litigant. Don't be a litigant. Don't be known to be a litigant. Yeah, again, if you're an expert in audit trail, you can overcome. Yeah, true. This multiple guy seems to be doing so many things. All right. So then, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many things you can do, but please, as you do that, remember that you messed yourself somewhere. And there's some good directors amongst those ones. So start thinking of training them. Call, in this case here, experts on matters of ethics to come and preach to them. At times, preaching is very, very key. It's not like word of God, but at least, it's also, there are very few human beings who understand that in this world, you don't need to be so rich. No. I like it in Sweden. You can Google there. Sweden, they use a word logom, L-O-G-O-M. You should have what is just sufficient for you. Excesses would always mean that you want to steal or something. I mean, after now you've become, in this case here, for example, you would want to be a very, very rich man. You're working for government. Now you'd want to live in a car and have. Will you start walking on the air? And there are things I would want to tell you guys, my students here. Will you start walking on the air or flying kind of yourself? If you have a 12-bedroom mansion, will you start sleeping in 2 bedrooms at the same time? And at times, have you ever known that there are people who live in these underprivileged places like slums, who even live a better quality life than people who live in these posh estates? What I know, so long as you are healthy, number one, yeah, so long as you are healthy, and so long as you are able to meet your basic needs, ladies and gentlemen, stealing really should never be your portion. And as accountants, and I've taken an opportunity to warn you, especially guys of ISPAC that I normally do trainings. I always, my 5 minutes, I always remind you, I know of so many of my students that I've taught in the past who right now are in jail. And I can assure you, even the students that I'm teaching today, year 71, 10% of you will be in jail in the next 7 to 10 years. God forbid, do not be you. God forbid. And not because you're going to steal so much. It's because you'll go to your workplace and then somebody will tell you that there is some 200,000 here. Let's just divide it among us ourselves. So you take 50, another one takes 50, and you're the accountant. Who is putting down their signature? The accountant. And those guys outside there, the ones who are an accountant, those are the guys who know how to cover the audit trail. Everything. And when you will be, on the TVs all over, there is no one among us, those guys who will come to rescue you. So you go there, steal $1 million, you steal whatever. At the end of the day, once you put your fingers into that cookie jar with bad food now, because that is bad food, at the end of the day, for you to be able to come and say no. And that is why I really sympathize with Governor Nairobi when I saw him saying that KRA cannot become its agent, cannot become Nairobi County's agent in terms of collecting. I knew he had lost it totally. When he got those revenues, there were huge revenues. He should have, like right now, he's just a Dimple's man. Don't take me to court. Don't take me to court. Don't take me to court. But at the end of the day, if you read the auditor's report, now we have a situation where a big county, accounting for 60% of Kenya's GDP, given a disclaimer of opinion that the auditor was not able to get substantial audit evidence to make any claim. So now the guy is there helpless, fighting for land worth 900, is it 900 million, almost $1 billion at his age. I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm just here to show you that once, those cartels are very, very serious. Because I'm so sure you guys, even currently, there must be somebody who has a sensitive position, like the county government, never be cheated. If you're getting 300,000, 400,000 a month, even if you have a family of 4, that money is enough for you and your family. And once you go that way of faithfulness, then you'll be able to grow within the company very, very fast. And if you feel that the cartel's pressure is so high to make you steal, you are better off going to the nearest police station. You kneel down and lift your hands like this. Say, now, you guys, it's called whistleblowing. It's called whistleblowing. Because there are cartels outside here. Once we show them like a door, once like this, those guys will steal everything. Like in Nairobi County, nothing. I wish we maintained the KDF people there. If I were this young man, KDF would have still remained. Those guys, we used to see so many things happen in Nairobi. And then, of course, when those things are done, there are counties, even most of, leave alone Nairobi, even Kajiado, what is happening in Kajiado, they can only happen if, in this case, they go the Uhuru way and they put the military soldiers. Military soldiers are not perfect, but at least we'll have what we call an oversight. Each county in Kenya, there's nothing happening in these counties. Each county in Kenya should have a KDF command just to manage water resources. Is there anybody who is agreeing with me? Is there anybody who is agreeing with me? Is there anybody who is agreeing with me? Or you would want that sovereignty, that we want to govern ourselves? Africans, we can't govern ourselves in terms of money. Trust you me. Trust you me. I've seen it all, where in this case, I go to play a few things under there. You get, actually, especially men, we are so corrupt. We are seated there, we are just discussing about deals. I think we have a problem as Africans. In the Bible, there is this man who was cast, and he was cast with his entire generation. Who would be knowing the name of that man? Who would be knowing the name of that man? Who was cast, and he was cast with the entire generation. Is there somebody who knows the Bible very well? It wasn't Cain. It wasn't Cain. Is it Ham? Eli. Is it Eli really? The guy who was told, I'm cursing you. and cursing your entire generation. There's a guy. Seems you guys are not reading. Or it's Eli. Somebody has confirmed it's Eli. And we were to Google later, it's Eli. Somebody's confirming again, it's Eli. So always, whenever I look at my Bible and my own just thinking, I think that man must have been a black man. I think that man must have been a black man. The kind of things happening in this country or in Africa in general, it's chaotic. God forgive me, but I think there is a problem. I think there is a problem. Not in churches. I mean, it's all over. If you go to TikTok China, good things are happening in China. You know, TikTok China is very different from what happens in Africa. TikTok Africa is chaotic. It's chaotic. I'm telling you, Africa, we have issues, but we shall overcome. 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 Church is the worst. You can now see. Great. The market is confirming there. I mean, it's crazy. Even Wazungus, of course, I'm so sure some of them are thieves. But I can tell you those guys can't steal to the extent that they steal everything. They even lack money that can even be used to buy even chumbi or sugar. You know that it's chaotic outside here. Most of you are young, you may not be able to understand what I'm talking about. But please, when you take the responsibility of being up there, be a gatekeeper. Know how to control resources. Know how to control resources. All right. Then if you allow Mwalimu here, I'll be able to read the next question, ladies and gentlemen. We are told here, assuming that you are a corporate governance strategy consultant and the SCL has approached you for advice on modernization of the company's operations, suggest 6 modules that would be included in the integrated enterprise resource management software for the company. Very easy, really. I just read here. So the modules, we would want a module which will help us manage the supply chain management, streamline procurement processes, optimize inventory management, and track the movement of raw materials and the finished goods to enhance efficiency and minimize costs. Number 2, financial management. Implement comprehensive financial reporting and analysis tools to monitor revenue, expenses, and cash flow, enabling better decision-making and resource allocation. Then we need another module to manage human resources, manage employee data, payroll, and performance evaluations efficiently, facilitating workforce planning, training, and development initiatives to improve productivity and employee satisfaction. Number 4, customer relationship management. Track customer interactions, manage sales leads, and analyze this customer relationship. This is called CRM. Quality control and compliance, establish quality assurance protocols and regulatory compliance frameworks to ensure adherence to industry standards and mitigate risks associated with non-compliance or product defects. Business intelligence analytics. Of course, you need like what we call the Power BI to be part of the SAP, to be part of the ERP. You need a section that you're able to get powerful intelligence. Utilize data analytics tools to generate actionable insights from large data sets, enabling predictive modeling, trend analysis, and strategic decision support across all functional areas of the organization. Unethical practices propagated by various agents of SEL. It's asked here. It's asked here. E, assess 5 unethical practices propagated by various agents of SEL. We can just go through them quite fast. This is what we have, ladies and gentlemen. We are told here, undocumented sugar sales, allowing large amount of sugar to leave the company without any proper documentation, collusion with distributors, colluding with sugar distributors to provide undocumented credit advances, revenue mismanagement, demonstrating laxity in collecting sales proceeds from buyers to earn interest or kickbacks. We have delayed harvesting and bribery, that you have to be bribed for sugar to be harvested. We have misuse of imported sugar earnings, diverting earnings from imported sugar sales into private accounts of senior managers, indicating embezzlement or misappropriation of companies' funds for personal gain, Now, ladies and gentlemen, then that marks the end of that particular question, which I believe that you guys can really help you guys to get that kind of exposure. Do you still have some energy? We continue. Oh, harm was cast, okay. Do you have some energy? We continue. Now, the other area that never misses, ladies and gentlemen, the other area that never misses, ladies and gentlemen, is known as who? The other area that never misses, ladies and gentlemen, the other area that never misses, ladies and gentlemen, is strategy. Please allow me to download something here. Just a minute. This is very, thank you very much for giving me this chance to teach you guys strategy. Strategy is what I like best. I like this. I'll only take 30 minutes. I can see numbers are going down. I can see numbers are reducing. Where are the people going to? Where are the people going to? Or would you want us like we meet tomorrow? Strategy is what I like best. We continue, right? Do we continue or do we meet tomorrow? Problem is that my tomorrow may never be there. Problem is that my tomorrow may not be there. Yeah, my tomorrow may not be there. This is a crazy man. It may reach tomorrow and he will be doing other things, you know. Problem nayo wanafunzi wa CPA nao. Sasa kama saizi ukiwaambia hii leadership and management, hata wapatie mwalimu soda kidogo ya kuwafunza, wanafunzi wa CPA ni wagumu sana. Do you guys work ama mnakuwa wanafunzi sana peke yake? Pia mnalianga sana. Kwa nini? Mnalianga sana. Ama ni course, that's why accountants are really underpaid. Kwa primary school unalipa fees ya 1 million a year. And what they go to learn there ni kitu very, and yet CPA we are teaching you guys great content, lakini ukiambia wanafunzi walipe. So you can have a consistent timetable during the day. All right. Hiyo sasa ni vita. So I've been able to send to your groups the book that I want to use here. Please confirm. Please confirm. Please confirm whether you have seen it. Please confirm whether you have seen that book. It's a great book. It's a great book, really, really, really. And that book, you're getting it courtesy of this gentleman called Wekesa. He really pushed me to look for that book. A gentleman called Wekesa, he really pushed me a lot to get it. So once you guys are able to see it, so then we have here Joshua, like that. All right, let me download it now. Yeah, let me download it here. You've seen it, right? You've seen it. You've seen it. You've seen it. You know, it takes quite a lot to be able to mount a class like this. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. If I were you, I would even contribute something small. Because even the Bible commanded us to go and work and get a living out of it. It takes a lot of work. To get this kind of knowledge that I have, I've done ACC, I've done so many things. And I never did them for free. Now CPA students, hey, Mungu awasaidie sana. Mungu awasaidie sana. Don't worry, today our visitors around. Msifikirie ati mwalimu amepata mtoto mdogo na hapana. Add me to the group. Frida must be a good ninja. Frida must be a good ninja. We shall overcome. So there's a student here who wants to be added to that group. For you, because you are not at RCM, you have to pay us full fees. Full fees of block release because we get the other videos. 2,000 bob. Wewe sasa hakuna kukua added ama hakuna, lazima una add something here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to go straight away to strategy. I like strategy. I've taught strategy. So those students who would want to join us, of course, you have to call that school number. Yeah, we start from here, corporate strategy, real life examples. And I would want to start by reading Kodak. Kodak. This will really assist you guys. So you're told Kodak is an organization with an almost unrivaled photochemistry. It had a reputation for excellent color films. Obviously, digital photography has had a huge impact on the profitability of Kodak. You know, let me give you the story of Kodak. You guys may not be knowing what Kodak is because of your age. Kodak used to be a big company which used to use the old technology of photography. And they used to be all over this town. You can remember like around, is it KTDA? They used to have very good studios there, Savoy, very good studios. This thing was a big conglomerate, big, huge company. Now, when Samsung and the other phone providers, manufacturers started making cameras, which are digital, the CEO of Kodak said those guys are not going anywhere with that innovation. They can't innovate. They can't beat Kodak. So they never went ahead with any innovations themselves. Now, remember those Kodak people used to come to our homes on Sundays and take us photos, and then they would bring back those photos, say, after a week, or two, because they used to use that word of what you wash. You're going to wash this. Was it a negative or something? I mean, it was quite old school. It was quite a slow process. And remember, especially girls of nowadays would want a situation where they take a photo, they do like this once, and then they upload. So they wanted something, in this case here, digital, like that. So all of a sudden, one of the fine mornings, the CEO of Kodak with his team did a press conference. They did a press conference where they were now coming to acknowledge the fact that now Kodak is no more. And they say that when you look behind here, the manager standing behind me are forthright, good people. They never stole from Kodak. What has stolen our cheese is digital photography. Those phone manufacturers, they've taken the cheese away. So, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we are thinking about strategy, future, the plans, in future, you must always try to protect yourself from water competition. You don't want a situation where somebody comes and steals the cheese from you. And it's you can just be eating here, and because you have closed your eyes like this to that ugali only. You're only seeing ugali and samaki. You're not thinking about how you're going to get future samaki. People will come and steal everything from you, and then you'll be left like that now without with nothing. So that was a very sorry state in Nokia's case. Up to now, I think now they're selling gumboots. It's still there, doing some small consultancies here and there. But you see, once you have a niche and then you waste that niche chance, you will never ever wake up. So obviously, digital photography has had a huge impact on the profitability of Kodak. The decline in Kodak's profits does not necessarily mean that Kodak did anything wrong. It might simply mean that its unique, excellent technology has had its day. If you are very good at something, but then no one wants what you are good at anymore, then success success will be done what year? Success will be damaged. Kodak is trying to change it to other areas of the market, such as cameras. However, having had a uniquely strong position in color chemistry, it could be difficult to transfer the reputation and replicate your success even in greater areas. So that went like that. Another sorry case that I would want just to relate here before I teach you guys on strategy. Another company that has lost its glory. Yes, it's IBM. Remember IBM monitors, the IBM framework. They used to work in offices, if you remember. They were so huge. You'd hear the word computer, and then you imagine that computer is like a plane, an aircraft engine, big thing like this. They were like now the current servers, big. So IBM never knew that anybody would come and start making personal computers that people would move around with. So when a few companies started making these laptops, etc., again, IBM went ahead to criticize them. I mean, that these guys are just here to disappear. They're here to disappear. So they never thought of strategically. Your strategy is about enabling the consumer. It's about enabling the consumer to move around, enabling the consumer to move around, enabling the consumer to move around. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Listen and listen to me very well. IBM, in the 1970s, IBM was a very powerful and a profitable computer manufacturer. However, by mid-80s, it had registered one of its largest corporate losses ever made. In the space of about 5 years, there was a complete turnaround. How did this happen? With the benefit of hindsight, many commentators suggest that IBM hit hard times because it misread the impact of a change of technology, namely the impact of personal computers. For a company which had made a success of manufacturing and selling mainframe computers to large businesses and the government, personal computers might have seemed to be little more than playthings. We can't produce playthings. Those are toys. A senior executive at the time was rumored to have commented that it couldn't see why anyone would want a computer. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very carefully. I teach strategy, and I don't teach strategy in CPA. In real life, I teach many companies how to do strategies. And one of the things that has really affected companies, especially during these pandemics and the global wars, is this. You guys must have done this. It's called strategic drift. Strategic drift. So now here we are as a company. Assuming this is a college, I don't want to mention names. A college. So this college, of course, when the environment is telling, the environment is in the blue here, the blue ocean. You want to go to the blue ocean, follow this environment. So the environment is telling it up, 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 as we are just here continuing to do our things the normal way. Then we realize, hi, this environment, how comes now revenues are not coming in? For example, at a school, we say, let's follow the environment. We make just like a small jump. When we make like a small jump, again, we do not align very well with the environment. Again, here we are. You can see what is happening here. The environment is going up. We make a small jump. Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, you can see here what is happening. When we talk of strategic drift, we are looking at misalignment of a company's strategy from what the environment wants. The environment, for instance, wanted students to be taught online because now students want online. But now we have a university, like I went to one university the other day, and these guys are really building big blocks of structures right now, hostels, whatever. They're forgetting, like now, the University of Nairobi. Look at, for example, its education department. These students who are studying in Kikuyu there. Education, physics, chemistry, etc. All subjects are now taught online. You're told to stay with your gadget in your hostel and study from there. You only come, is it on Thursday? Somebody was telling me. On Thursdays and some other day for practicals only. For practicals only. In the next 20 years, people will not even be going for those practicals. Actually, 20 years is very, very far. In the next 10 years, if you see like now Harvard, people are coming with this virtual reality. Those Googles, you normally see people putting like this. And in virtual reality, I'm able to get to somebody's kidney and get to see everything. So I will really be able to do even most of the, and you can even do surgery in virtual reality. You guys do you know what we call VR? Virtual reality. Have you ever heard of virtual reality? Have you ever heard of virtual reality? Have you ever heard of virtual reality? Ah, great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's good that you guys know about virtual reality. Like if you look at greatest engineering universities right now, they're doing very few things outside. They'll go, for example, into the students will go to a school and they'll do like first year virtual reality where they are seeing like now engines in 3D using those things. And then they are able to see like, yeah, I should have. So they get to learn much faster. So even the time to do practical is reduced because now this guy will get the feel having seen many of those things. You know, currently what is happening, we get like somebody who is in civil engineering who has done the entire civil engineering, but he has never seen like practically how most of these things are done. But now with virtual reality, we'll be able to see them pretty fast. So things are changing. So like now, universities in the next 10 years, I can assure you this. Most parents in this case, even this homeschooling, most parents would want their students in this case to study from home. Like right now, assuming RCM was not online, I'm so sure we would not have gotten to know even each other because here I teach students who are in Southern Sudan virtually, students who are in Rwanda virtually, students who are here in Kenya, Lodwar, Kakuma refugee camp. All right. Because of what here? This thing of virtual. So let me come back, ladies and gentlemen. I think you're on a poll. No answer. It would have been disastrous. Now listen and listen to me very well. In this case here, we are here, so making a jump a little bit. So we have started drifting here now. These are drift. You know, drift means worlds apart. The environment is saying you do this, but you're doing something very different. Now, when you are drifting like this, you see like now here, this is just an incremental change because we want to catch up. So we change incrementally, but again, we fall behind. But now look at this. Now we have drifted. Now we'll never catch up. Once you drift, you'll never catch up. Once you drift, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who normally go up trees, there are people who climb trees. Like most men here, I know they climb trees. I've never seen a lady accountant who knows how to climb up a tree, but men here, they climb trees. So when you are up there, holding onto a branch, when you drift and come down, do you think along the way there is anything that can hold you? When you are now, you have drifted now, you're coming down. Having drifted, you're coming down. There is nothing that will ever hold you. Once you have drifted strategically from the environment, the next thing we'll hear is a loud bang, volume here, up. Maybe you die. Maybe you die. And that is what is happening to our companies day in, day out. They are strategically drifting. And once in this case here, you drift strategically, there are two options here. You've drifted strategically, unaanza kuyumbayumba kwa maji. Kama ni Mkikuyu ameyumbayumba kwa maji, namna anakunywa maji kidogo, anaanza kusema motidu, kuna maji, motidu. So once you reach here, now you're almost going down, you think of flying. You want to now go up and succeed. It has to be a transformational change. And many companies will not be able to get enough resources to do this transformational change. They can't. So it is either you change big time, or in this case, you die. Ladies and gentlemen, companies that get into this strategic drift and the flux and of course death are those companies that fall behind innovation. Remember, innovation here is what dictates our environment. Our environment is dictated by innovation. It is dictated by what the consumers want, So we must keep on doing innovations. So like now, Mwalimu here initially, I used to do like streaming live on Facebook alone. I mean, I'm always searching. Like now I got a very good solution where I'm now able to, stream. Like now this video you're seeing here is streaming on 5 channels. all right? So I'm now in the process of opening other channels, all right? So when I do one video, I'm able even to have it, in this case, streamed on LinkedIn, streamed on TikTok, streamed on all over. The moment I do that, then I'm able to grow my social media footprint. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to drift, I can tell you right now, there are very big colleges that I know which are not even able to pay salaries. There are very many big colleges that, given what we did as RCM to embrace technology as our medium platform of training, that we are even able to pay double salaries of what they are paying. They are paying because you see, as our rent is, Ochuguru is small. It's small. So please, when you become CEOs, never ever accept your company to fall off the tree. You should always be up there on the tree, holding onto good branches, and not just to hold. If you hold like this and things are no, when the tree grows, unaruka kama kamanki, unajikuta juu. Unaruka kama kamanki. Look at you. That's what we call what here, working with the environment. Otherwise, you will do what here, you will drift. You will drift. Are there people here who are working with the companies that have already drifted? Are there people who are working with the companies that have already drifted? Companies that have already drifted. Are there people who are working with companies that have already drifted? It seems that you guys are really great ninjas. You're the monkeys that I'm talking about. When the technology, or rather when the environment says like this, we go up. We're jumping up and up and up and up like that. We are good ninjas. Please keep up with that spirit. So have you understood that concept of strategic drift in a way that you guys will be able to explain it in an exam? Have you understood that concept of strategic drift in a way that we build? Because I want to see that terminology when you guys are answering case questions like this SEL. I mean, I should have seen strategic drift, because when your competitors are getting ahead of you in terms of technology, then you are drifting. You are drifting. You are drifting. That is the technology that I want to see you guys mentioning there. You are drifting. Like right now, SEL, you mentioned like that. Like right now, SEL, for it to be able to get now ahead of its competitors, it has to transform substantially. Otherwise, it's on its deathbed. With that kind of language, then leadership and management will be hit like the ninja stroke. One kick, it's down. One kick is down. Unajua kwa ninja wengine mguu yao ni soft. Yeye lazima apige kick kama ngapi? 4. Ndio yule opponent anguke chini. We don't want that. Unapata mwanafunzi hapa kiki yake iko ni dhaifu, anagonga LM mara 5. Do we have any ninja here that has done LM 5 times? Don't cheat me. Tell me the truth. Do we have any ninja? Of course, this time around, now your kick is strong enough. But in the past, do we have any ninja who has knocked this thing 5 times? Anapiga ile ni kama mawe aisongi, anasema urolo. Because now I have to teach you like colleagues here. You must understand the industry. Now they don't want to talk to me. Now they hate me. Let me not use that language again. Or second time, I can see somebody there, second time, great, but we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Either this time down, you should be able to give this thing like a kick, a real kick. LM has to fall down. LM has to fall down. LM has to fall down. Is there anybody who is seeing it falling down? Or are you seeing a giant ahead of you? Are you seeing a giant ahead of you? Is there anybody who is seeing it falling down? Or are you seeing a Goliath ahead of you? It must fall down. Sherry, I like that. It must fall down. It must fall down, yes. It must fall down. There's some tricky. I could get tricky. We shall overcome, yes. We shall overcome, yes. Look at this ninja. Now I'm teaching very serious things here, and a ninja is inboxing me here that Mwalimu, you can make a very good pastor. Mwalimu, you can make a very good pastor. Why? Nobody has ever told me that in the past. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. But this class is a good class. This class, the other day, in the evening class, they told me, Mwalimu, you can make a very good public speaker. So there's something I'm really thinking about on then how do I raise the game. That's the only class that has ever told me. I believe this ninja who is telling me I can make a good pastor is also in the evening class. So guys are really thinking about Mwalimu. It will be a strategic drift. Rosemary, you say that Mwalimu, if you go pastorhood, that will be a strategic drift. We Rosantaki Mazuri. We Rosantaki Mazuri. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen. And I would want you to listen to me very well. Please, please, please listen. Please listen. And I'm now doing the last thing because I can see we have to stop because now students are really, really running away. Now we have lost about 19. Are there students who are working today? Why are students leaving class? I thought we should be increasing, not going down. Are there students who are having, in this case here, like classes today? Not classes, but they're working. Do we have any students who are working today? No. Very good. So I'll do, this is the last thing that I'm doing. It's like you guys are getting tired very fast. You guys are not strong ninjas. I mean, strong ninjas should be able to withstand. They should be able to withstand. They should be able to withstand this kind of lengthy lessons. I mean, this kind of lengthy lessons. Or there's somebody who's in a hostel or Glado. If they're working in Australia, they have to be. Or hotel industry right now is their biggest season. Right now is their biggest season, yes. Oh, it's from 5 a.m. Okay, then I understand. Vero, let me just do one concept. Let me just do one concept. At the consulate, also they are working. We had AFM, then I agree. That's why I know them. Then I know. Let me just do one concept here. When, of course, you're talking of strategy implementation, you've said you want to adopt, in this case here, a new system, you shall face a lot of resistance. You shall face a lot of resistance. So you're changing systems. We even through IBC have been able to change the system. We have brought, in this case here, a new man in the room who now is the president for all. So you shall always have like two forces here. You shall have a force for and a force what here again against. So then what strategies will you be able to use to be able to contain the situation, to be able to befriend these guys who are against you, because you can't fight them. You can't fight them. You must get a way of unfreezing the eyes. People must talk. So in this case here, we have what we call the force field analysis. You get to the field and then you analyze the forces that are there. We have forces who are very, very friendly. We have forces in these cases and gentlemen who are what here unfriendly. So there are many, many ways you could use. So for example, some of these players who are very unfriendly, check out who is their biggest team captain. Buy that captain. Buy the captain to come to you. Give him lots of money, that captain. So he comes to your side. Get a few MPs as well. Give them 20,000. They don't take out of bribe. I think most of those get from the things we hear, like they don't have money. Get a few of them, ladies and gentlemen, MPs. It's called force field analysis. Very, very popular in your exam. Force field analysis. So under force field analysis here, as mentioned earlier, the normal assumption is that the change will be resisted by employees, and even if it's not resisted very strongly, there is likely to be a period where employees are nervous and there will be a certain amount of disruption. It's important for companies to try and manage change so that the disruption and resistance are both minimized. There are a number of techniques that can help. The first one is the Dr. Lewin's force field analysis. I expect this guy in the body of management, the guy gave us very good contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen. Please listen. Please listen. I hope you're together here. So we have here, the first one shows here. So we have forces for change. They are blue. Blue. Guys, great people here. Kimani Shungwa. Ndindi Nyoro. Murukomen. Forces for change. Then we have forces resisting change. Yeah. The aim in this case is to weaken resistance. Yeah. Lewin says that on one side, there are forces for change. Those guys who like you now. The assumption is that these changes will set up forces resisting them. It could be just individual employees who object, or it could be more highly organized through a trade union or works council. The wrong approach, according to Lewin, is for management to push very hard. Don't start killing people. Don't push very hard. One way, because the chances are that the force resisting change will just push equally hard the other way. And the whole conflict escalates so that there is a serious risk of industrial unrest and strikes and work to rules. Lewin says that instead of taking on the resisting forces head on, management should aim to weaken resistance to change. And how do you weaken resistance to change? How do you weaken communication? Often resistance to change is there because people simply don't know what is happening. They fear for their jobs, but perhaps there are no plans to make anyone redundant. If people are worried that they won't be able to cope with the new system, you can say that training will be provided for everyone. Communication should also include reasons why change is needed. You could say to people that if we don't change, we can't compete. If we can't compete, there will be a contraction of business. Participation. Let people participate, ladies and gentlemen. If you explain to people why change is needed and then ask them to make suggestions about the change in the structure of the company, a kind of bottom-up approach, it is subsequently quite difficult for them to object to suggestions that they have made themselves. There should be one on collaboration. We need to collaborate with these people. We need to look at the team captain. Who is the team captain? The team captain, for example, is Raila Odinga. Get this guy. Take him to African Union. And then, of course, even if you squeeze now everybody else with taxes, including the guys in blue who used to support you, even if you squeeze them in terms of taxes, they can't have anyone to tell them, let's go to the street. It's called force field analysis, Lewinians. It's called Kurt Lewinian. Kurt Lewin, C-K-U-R-T, Lewin, Lewinian's theory, force field analysis. So have we understood something there? Communication, participation, collaboration. And then you kill that resistance to change. And then now everybody will be there now. And please, when I use political examples, don't try even to say that Mwalimu, no. Here we are talking now, we are one family. Is there anybody who is still fixated on the politics of Kenya? Is there anybody who is still really very bitter? Who is very bitter about politics that I should never use any example? Kupeleka baba AUC. So, but Frederick, allow me to use those examples. Imagine they are nice. Because you see, those are characters that now all of us know. All of us know those characters. After all, whether it's your brother, even if your brother was to be a president, I don't think you can really gain a lot. Actually, if you ask me, you even get spoiled. Some of those jobs they are given, I mean, they're not, I mean, to me, I cannot even consider them. Because, for example, you're given like one become there, so you are like a boss working all over and you're not learning. Any job that will not make me to be learning, I don't want it. Stay with it. Stay with it. I would want, in this case, you have to go through fire, learn things here. Learn things here. Yeah, they make the lesson lively, yes. They make the so the less I touch directly on your father, but even if it's your father, you're just doing it here for the sake. Now, I promise that was the last one. That was the last question that I was to do. Can I do one more? The very last, now not go beyond that. Can I do one more? Thanks, Ken. Great teaching, yes. Just one more. The last one. The last one. If I try, in this case, here to extend, So please go the court way and demonstrate. The last one, I promise, the last one. No, the last one. If I do two more, I think I'll be very, 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 very. Now, this Dr. Lewin came and gave us, in this case here, another approach. Now, this guy spoke about what we call unfreeze, make changes, and then refreeze the situation of managing resistance to change. You can very easily this semester get a question on change management. Change management. So Lewin's second suggestion for managing change is his three-step process, which effectively is very similar to his force field analysis, though not using quite the same analogy. Here he says, first, management must unfreeze the current situation. Explain to people why change is needed. Get them ready for change. Ideally, get them ready to embrace change. Secondly, you put through now the changes. Now that it's unfrozen, you put through the changes. This can be a relatively long period where people will have to perhaps undergo retraining and restructuring. Third, refreeze the situation. Refreeze the situation. Let things settle down. Have a period of calm where things refreeze and they become stable in a new environment. Above all, make sure that people don't slip back into old patterns of behavior. Now, remember the analogy here is about water. So water here has got two states, ice state and of course the liquid state. So whenever people hear that there is a change coming, that you're coming in this case here with the new SAP. These are 30 accountants who have never heard of the SAP before. They are hearing SAP for the very first time today. Those guys, even tomorrow when they come to job, they will not be talking. They'll be like ice, right? Because they are fearing for their jobs. They don't know what is happening. So in this case here, again, there, according to Dr. Lewin, don't use too much force, no. And freeze the situation. We call it break the ice. Let everybody feel comfortable in their skin. Tell them for sure, nobody will lose their job here. Fear nothing. Even if you have never heard about SAP, I, as your CEO, I'll ensure that proper training, and actual training will even start like immediately before that system is delivered. And everybody, I know you guys individually, tell them that I know you guys individually, everything will be what here will be okay. So you are freezing the situation. You are breaking the ice. Once you break the ice, mambo yamenyoroka, imekuwa ni maji. What do you know about water? Water, once you have water, it can take any shape. Even if it's a triangle shape, it can take any shape, water. Ikunje sasa ikiwa maji. Make the changes there. Now, at this water stage, when it's liquid like that, when you're making changes, now you can even fire people. But don't fire them in a bad way. Follow the process. If it's a golden handshake, give them a real gold. Don't give them 100,000. Give them a golden handshake like these are real gold. They go home with $1 million and something like that. So they can get to start life afresh. Give them something, because most of us don't have emergency funds. Give them something that can last them like a year, even if they want not to find a job like me immediately. So in this case here, during this liquid state, bring in that change, make bends, changes to be brought, bring in even new accountants, because now you're making change. Now they're thinking that things will be very, because during the breaking the ice, we promised them great things. Bend. But the bending again cannot continue forever. You brought in this case here, this thing, been able to make enough bends. Now we have new systems in place. You must thaw the ice again, the water again. You must freeze it back. You refreeze. Take it back to the refrigerator. Ikae hivo. Don't make further changes for even like 10 years. Why are we refreezing? We don't want these guys to go back to the old technology. We want them to be contained well within this new system like that. So we've learned something very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. As I go away, of course, I'm going away now. I'm going away now from Dr. Lewin. Like, for example, when I'm breaking the ice, there's a lot of participation. There's a lot of talking to these people. There's a lot of training here. During the changing state, I'll be able to make changes. There'll be a lot of communications again. There'll be a lot of training again. Even during the refreezement stage, a lot of public participation, etc. So if you were to mention like 3 things as we disappear, that you guys have been able to learn from my class today, what would you quote you've learned from Mwalimu today? What would you quote you've learned from Mwalimu today? What would you quote you've learned from Mwalimu today? From the corporate governance, etc. as we disappear. etc. as we disappear. etc. as we disappear. Again, somebody is telling me, Mwalimu would want to buy you lunch. No problem, I've done my work. You want to buy Mwalimu lunch? Kia kata so mbili wanafunzi. Sitapata pesa mzuri sana. Yes, Obama mkinunua lunch namna hiyo. Yeah, so that's my number, but not mandatory. We are not working especially, or for example, you are on a tight budget. I'm not that badly off, but given that I've really worked, it's about working. I've worked and I'm not supposed to be teaching this LM. You're always doing something there. If you are not very much squeezed, there are people who work on some tight string budget. And if they try something small here, the string breaks off, will drift. They drift. Essentials of balanced scorecard, strategic drift. No, you guys don't take instructions very well. I would want you to write 3. You write 3 and then you send them as one message. And then I go through them as a way of a recap, of what you've done. Like what Sylvia has done, forced to change. Oh, write 3, only 3. Don't give me more than 3. I know why I want 3. Sure. Forced to change, communication, participation, collaboration. So you're talking about the forces field. I write it in full. Forces field management. Forces field management. Alexander and freeze, preparation stage. Change stage, implementation stage. And refreeze stage, avoid going back. Thank you very much, Alexander. Much salutation, but that's not what you have learned from my class. 100, that's just one model. Please write for me. Another one, Alexander. Balance scorecard, Mary, why do you write just one thing? Have you only learned one thing, really? I doubt. Strategic change, balance scorecard, force field analysis is what Juliana has learned from, which is very good. Corporate governance, force field management, balance scorecard. Please don't forget them because those things will account for more than 30% of your marks in your exam. Na you are to bahatishi. Here to bahatishi. Corporate governance, strategic change, force field. That's where Kesa, balance scorecard. Meda mbio sasa, balance scorecard, force field analysis, etc. Thank you, Mary. At least you've learned so many things. So, ladies and gentlemen, from me to you is much love and bye-bye. And bye-bye. And bye-bye. And bye-bye. Of course, we are meeting at exactly 1. Blue Ocean, balance scorecard, enterprise modules. Enterprise modules. So really, you're a great ninja. You really know how to knock hard. Bye. Great. Strategic drift. Great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.